Hello, everyone. Hello, Game of Apps students. How are you today?
Okay, so something exciting if you keep following me.
Is that your laundry? Yes, that's my laundry machine. The things I have to do to conduct class for you, doing laundry and teaching you stuff. That's the dryer, by the way, Andrew. You don't understand. You clearly have never done laundry at all, have you? The dryer and the laundry machine makes different music at the end. Come on, man. Come on. Okay.
Sketches and we're like, oh, we must be doing sketches.
That's luggage right there.
Yeah,
that's
and
luggage.
A fever because I took my second shot already, but I just gotta let it go, let it go.
Hey, it did not crash, did it?
I got a feeling.
I'll click here for more. Click here to subscribe. Maybe here. Maybe here. My face. Right?
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Season 5 Game of Apps Championship. We're excited to have you all here today, and we can't wait to show you all the projects that the students have been working on. If you weren't with us during the showcase last weekend, first of all, where were you, right? But second of all, let me first introduce myself. My name is Leah. I am one of the design mentors at Game of Apps, and I have my amazing co-host with me today, joining from all the way on the other side of the border.
Hello, everyone, from the beautiful all the way in Seattle. I'm Janice, another design mentor with Game of Apps, and it's unfortunate that I can't be with Leah today or in person today, but the beauty of us moving everything remote now is that we can all be here virtually. Yeah, so Leah, it's been like 5 years since we ran Game of Apps, right?
Yeah, well, you know what, Janice? As they say, time flies when you're having fun.
For sure. We've really come a long way from having a 8-week program just in Richmond to expanding to a 24-week program and then opening chapters in New West and West Bend. And now we've taken the entire program online and also added prerequisite programs so that we can help students get prepared to the final competition like this. So we've really grown up, huh?
Yeah, we really are. But you know what? Growing up doesn't mean that you stop having fun, right? So that being said, we have 3 mini games sprinkled all throughout the competition for all of you, audience and students alike, to play along with us. So it's open to everyone watching the live stream. If you win a mini game or games for some of our more competitive players out there, you'll be able to select from our prize pool of stickers, 3D printed goods, and a lot of company swag. There are 3 games. There are 3 games that we are going to be playing.
Yeah, so the 3 games are what we call number 1, guess the number. The second one is spot the difference. And the third one that we're playing is find all the imposters.
Yeah, and you know what? The first one already happened. So for our keen watchers out there, at the beginning of the stream, we showed a montage video celebrating 5 years of Game of Apps. Can you guess the total number of mentors we've had all throughout 5 years? type in your answer in the YouTube live stream. And remember, you need to be logged in to comment.
So come on up, everyone. Give us your best guess. We'll announce the winner later, so you have more time to try to figure out what the exact number is. And if you don't guess it right, as we mentioned, there's going to be plenty of games happening throughout the show. So this will technically help diversify your chance of winning. So back to topic. Speaking of mentors, students typically see a few of them during the lectures and during the one-on-one session, but we actually have a lot of mentors behind the scenes trying to plan, create the lecture material, and present the lecture material. And we've also have a lot of mentors working on our marketing and media videos like just you saw for the 5-year montage. So yeah, there's a lot of mentors working behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Let's invite one of those mentors. So I'm going to invite Roland, the mastermind behind all of this, to the stage. He's going to talk about how Game of Apps all started, highlight some key milestones, and tell us what he really does behind the scenes. Is he secretly a ninja? I don't really know, but we'll find out.
Thanks so much, Leah and Janice. So yes, I'm Roland. I'm one of the developer mentors and also the founder of Game of Apps. Unfortunately, I'm not a ninja, but it would be fun though. First off, I want to acknowledge that we are today broadcasting live from Richmond, BC, and our guests in the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Tsawwassen, and Kwantlen First Nations. Next, I want to introduce a few special guests who would like to send their warm greetings. First up, we have Scott Robinson, the Superintendent and CEO of the Richmond School District.
Hi everyone, my name is Scott Robinson. I'm the Superintendent of Schools for the Richmond School District. It is my pleasure to be here today to offer just a few words of greetings and congratulations on behalf of the district. It is my understanding that students from over a quarter of our schools have participated in Game of Apps this year. The program keeps getting better and better, and it keeps growing bigger and bigger every year, and I'm so excited to see that. It's a great opportunity to come together, learn some new skills, and hopefully have some fun while you're doing all of that. I understand many of you will be participating in this year's Game of Apps showcase and competition, and I want to wish you the best of luck on behalf of the district. Go out there, be proud, and most importantly, have some fun. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Scott. Next, we have Sandra Nixon, a school trustee and also the chairperson of the Richmond School Board.
Hi, everyone. I'm honored to bring greetings on behalf of the Richmond School Board. Game of Apps is such an incredible opportunity for learning and skill building. I know you've all been working really hard and hopefully also having fun along the way. One of the things the pandemic has taught us is that imagination and collaboration are critical for solving the challenges in front of us, including how we can be a more equitable society where everyone is respected and included. I know this is the challenge you were given this year for your app designs, and I can't wait to see what you've all come up with. A huge thanks to you, Roland, and to your team and all the industry mentors for giving so generously of your time and knowledge to benefit our students. Best wishes and good luck, everyone.
Thank you, Sandra. Okay, so now a quick history of a Game of Apps. When I was in grade 7, the Richmond School District purchased their first Apple II computers, and my school, Walter Lee, was lucky enough to have it once every 3 weeks. The other 2 weeks, it was sent to other schools. That year was when I learned to write my first computer program in BASIC with the help of my grade 7 teacher, Mr. Glenn Bussey. Then, in junior high in Palmer and also in senior high at McNair, there were no opportunities for me to further my interest in programming. We just didn't have the classes back then. So my parents bought me a Commodore 64 and I continued learning on my own. I was so excited when I entered first year UBC because I was finally able to take my first formal computer programming course. After UBC, I and all my peers were so excited because we were at the very start of a tech revolution. The internet had not been invented yet. Can you guys believe that? We would spend the next 30 years building out high-speed internet, ADSL, fiber, the World Wide Web, HTML, Java, cell phone networks, 3G, 4G, and so much more. All these technologies were built by my generation of technology professionals. I have to say it was an extremely fun and exciting time with so many technology breakthroughs and advances. 6 years ago, I reconnected with my grade 7 teacher, Mr. Bassi, on Facebook. He still remembers me, and I realized that it was that year in his class that launched me towards this highly fulfilling and successful career. I'm so indebted to him, the Richmond schools, UBC, and all the countless teachers and mentors who helped me on my life journey. So I approached the Richmond School District and surprisingly realized that though more than 30 years had passed, there were still not that many opportunities to learn software development in many schools within the province. So our solution to this problem was to form three-way partnerships between the school districts, the technology professionals, and local businesses. Today, I am so thankful that so many tech professionals, many of whom you will see today, and many behind the scenes, share this vision to give back to the next generation and to volunteer their time to teach and mentor the students. Like me, many of them remember one or two individuals who made a difference in their younger lives and desire to pay it forward. So after 5 years, Game of Apps has reached almost 600 students from 33 different schools in BC. We hope to keep expanding to prepare more young people for their future careers. So that brings us to today. One of our valuable local business partners is RBC, and we are privileged to have Beth Shumka join us. As community manager for RBC, Beth is responsible for leading 3 branches in Southwest Richmond. Over the course of her 30-year career with RBC, she has had the opportunity to hold a variety of leadership roles in Ontario, the Prairies, and BC. Beth was a board member of the 2021 RBC BC Region Employee Giving Campaign, whereby RBC's British Columbia employees donated $180,000 to a broad range of charities. She has a Bachelor of Arts from UBC and an MBA from Ivey Business School at Western University, and is committed to lifelong learning. Beth's greatest pleasure at work is helping others, especially coaching employees to develop their skills and achieve their career goals. She is so inspired by the Game of Apps program and how it enables students to learn and grow. Beth is here today on behalf of RBC, who has generously provided us with the RBC Future Launch Grant. Please join me in welcoming Beth.
Thank you so much, Roland, for the nice introduction. And this is just an awesome event to celebrate the work that's been done through the Game of Apps program. It's so exciting to be joined by people who share a common goal, unlocking the potential of young people, helping them thrive, and driving Canada's future prosperity. And to all the young people on the call today, you are exceptional examples to all of us. Your perseverance, your hard work, your optimism, and your ability to learn and adapt, even in a major pandemic, aren't only inspiring characteristics, they are increasingly the skills required to succeed in the ever-changing world of work. And when young people succeed, we all win. Parents, educators, governments, employers, society at large, basically. RBC Future Launch is acting as a catalyst for change, and that's why we announced our largest commitment in RBC history. Future Launch is a 10-year, $500 million commitment to help Canadian youth prepare for the jobs of tomorrow through work experience, skill development, networking, and mental well-being support and services. So a lot of the components that you see in the Game of Apps program. We've made a long-standing commitment to work collaboratively with all stakeholders, including government, educators, public and private sectors, and most importantly, with young people, to help break down the barriers that they face when they're transitioning from school to work. And so I would like to thank Roland and the team of mentors and the judges and everyone involved in this program for your partnership and commitment to young people in BC. And we are truly honored to help support this program. So thank you so much and good luck to everyone today. Enjoy the event.
Thank you, Beth. On behalf of the Game of Apps organization, the students, and all the volunteers, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude towards you and RBC for awarding us with the RBC Future Launch Grant. Game of Apps would not be possible without partners like you, and together we can help fulfill our goal of preparing youth for 21st century careers. I have also with me here, Beth, I don't know if you could see a t-shirt that yes, I'd like to give you this t-shirt, just a little token of our appreciation. It matches the t-shirts that you see some of the mentors and the students will be wearing today. So I'll get that to you somehow over the next week or so.
Awesome. Right. Love it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Beth. So now we'll pass the time back to Leah to continue on with the show.
Thanks, Roland, and thank you, Beth. Okay, so now it's time to dive into the competition. We have 5 teams participating this year with a unique twist. This year, all of the teams are made up of students from different schools across the entire province. This opens up intercollaboration between the different schools and diverse perspectives on the complex theme that we've given them this year, inequity. To help explain the theme and why it was chosen, we have Justin here to help us.
Hey, thanks, Leah. So, yeah, I mean, on the topic, what we think is that sometimes when it comes to topics like equity and what's equitable, old fogies like us are not the best people to come up with the solutions, right? Because we carry a lot of baggage. What sort of baggage is like things like political alignment, our financial worries, and even who we decide to align with, and some of our cultural differences because of age. These sort of baggage really weighs down on us, even on the best of us when it comes to providing solutions for the topic of equity. What's interesting is that high school students, however, have a very different worldview, a pure naivete, if you will. And if you couple that with the rambunctious nature that comes with their age, it can be surprising, what kind of solutions they come up with. Often it's far more simpler, and perhaps this sort of simplicity is what we need when it comes to some of these complex topics, right? Reduce some of these complexity. After all, we think, what could possibly go wrong? And when we told the students about this topic, they said, how hard can it be? Well, it turns out that it can be pretty difficult, and some things can go wrong, but still, it could be worse, right? The mentors and I really believe that once you see what the students come up with, I think you will agree with us that great ideas can indeed come from younger generations. So please, stay tuned to what they're going to present. So Leah, having said that, can you let us know what you have lined up for today for our viewers?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Our teams are tackling a lot of really complex topics right now. So some of them are tackling immigration, integration inequities, age and technology inequities, and even mental health inequities. It's definitely a difficult topic, and I can't wait to see how the teams have addressed the different inequities that we've come across. Stay tuned until the end of the show for our award ceremony, where we will celebrate the teams and the students' achievements. While the teams are getting ready, Roland is back to introduce our judges for today.
So it is my pleasure to introduce our judges today. All are returning judges from past seasons, and we are so privileged to have them with us again. First, we have Carly Orr. Carly is an instructor at the BCIT School of Computing. She's also taught K-12 computer science and worked as a computer engineer in the semiconductor industry. She is excited to support computer science education and enjoys inspiring the next generation to apply software innovation and creativity towards solving real-world problems. Carly and I were actually classmates at UVC. And students, many of you know my story of how I failed several of my second-year electrical engineering courses. If it weren't for Carly here, I probably would have failed even more. So please join me in welcoming Carly.
Hello, everyone. Hi, students, teachers, and parents. it's very common. I'm so excited to be here to see your presentations. It's actually very common when we are on stage or presenting to look back and sometimes cringe and think, oh, I should have said this or I should have done that, and so on. But what I want to tell you today is you should be very proud to enjoy this moment, to celebrate where you have come. And a quote that I have to share is from Albert Einstein, apparently. Learn from yesterday, live for today. So our presentation is today, and hope for tomorrow. The quote also continues to say, and the important thing is to not stop questioning. So today is not the end of this whole experience for you. I hope you continue to dig and question these topics that you have been thinking about, how to improve and iterate your designs and your solutions. And the last one, that kind of applies to us as judges. We're not going to be stopping questioning you as well. So don't be scared. It's all to help us grow and become better for tomorrow. So look forward to everything ahead. Thanks, Roland.
Thank you, Carly. Thank you for those words of encouragement. I'm sure the students have butterflies in their stomach, but hopefully that calmed them down a little bit. Next, we have the multi-talented Haig Arman. Haig is a professor, designer, and musician living in Vancouver, Canada. Haig leads the Interaction Design program at Emily Carr University of Art and Design. His research explores the design of music technology, focusing on new gestural interfaces, data sonification, and music visualization. His most recent efforts are in design-led entrepreneurship and creating new musical instruments using emerging technologies. Haig's past education is in music and architecture, with an extensive career as a professional musician and composer. Over the past 2 decades, Haig has designed interactive work for prestigious clients like CBC, BMW, Chanel, and Nokia. As a producer of CBC Radio 3's groundbreaking online magazine during 2001 to 2005, Haig has received international design awards, including Webby Awards, Prix Italia, and Art Directors Club of New York. When Haig's not teaching or hanging out with his family, he can be found playing guitar in one of his quartets or the North Vancouver Big Band Jazz Connection. So I believe Haig is still running a little bit late, so he's not on the call yet. So you'll see him later, hopefully, as soon as he joins. So next we have Stanley Lai. Stanley is a senior UX manager at Wealthsimple, where he supports his brilliant team of engineers to build new products and services that help all Canadians achieve financial freedom, no matter who they are or how much they have. He was previously VP of Experience and Strategic Design at Domain 7, and his facilitation and speaking have inspired teams at startups and enterprises, bringing design methodology into the mainstream. Stanley recently completed a Master's of Science in Strategic Design and Management at the Parsons School of Design, where he did work on the applied ethics of design and technology. Let's give it up for Stanley.
Hey, I'm really glad to be working with all of you here at the Game of Apps again and see all the incredible work that all of you have been doing for the last little bit. I've done this for a couple. Roland has had me over to help out here for the last couple of years, and every year I've been really impressed and surprised at the robustness and the quality of the work that all of you have been doing, and how many of these important skills that you picked up that will serve you, I think, really well as people, as students, and as professionals in the future as well, and when you're done with school. So, thank you to Roland, the team, the mentors who've invested your time and efforts every year into working with the students and helping them learn new skills and new ways of thinking, new ways of seeing the world. I know some of these mentors personally, and they're really incredible, really talented engineers and designers that I wish I got to learn from when I was in school. So congratulations to all the work and learning that you've done today. I'm really, really looking forward to hearing your stories, looking at all the hard work that you've done and celebrate with all of you, the end of this season, literally.
Thanks so much, Stanley. So our fourth and last judge for today is, drum roll please, some of you might have guessed already, none other than the real Lim Shady, rapper extraordinaire, treasure trove of one-line quips, and a root source of many Game of Apps alumni's nightmares, the one and only Mr. Justin Lim.
So, as Bill O'Reilly says, we'll do it live, and that is indeed true here. Some students are asking me a lot, it's like, will you be judging this year, Justin? I was like, now you know. You're going to be asking quite difficult questions. Okay. So, I'm just saying that don't forget to breathe. I think that's all.
All right. Well, thank you all judges. Thank you, Justin. So we look forward to your input on the team's presentations. So I'll now hand it over back to Leah and Janice.
Oh, the joys of live television. All right. So, let's get the presentation started. For students, you'll be watching the show on Zoom. So when you hear your team name to go on deck, that's your cue to get ready and turn on your cameras. Okay, don't forget. Make sure to monitor the S05 Senior General Slack channel for any instructions from the production crew. You might also hear some of the mentors giving instructions too, so don't get thrown off by what you're hearing on the audio feed. To get us started, NFTeam, you are on deck first, so get ready on Zoom.
And for our audience, don't forget to download the Game of Apps app from the Apple App Store. I'm just pulling it up. It looks something like this. Brightness is too low. So it looks like this. So don't forget to download the app on the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, or you can also go on gameofapps.org to find a link and to cast your vote to help one of the teams to get on or to win the People's Choice Award. And how this works is that voting will end at the end of the last presentation. So once the last presentation has been completed, that's when we end the vote. And so since we like to keep things fun here, here's the second mini game that we will be playing. So throughout the pitch presentation, you're going to be seeing a few imposters that are going to be hiding around the competition. So like this person. So see if you can spot them. There's going to be a few sprinkled here, and then you will also see a few sprinkled around in Leah's video as well. So at the end, tell us how many you see, and the winner who posts the correct number will win a little something special. And so are we ready, Leah?
Have you ever written a resume before? Resumes are your first impression to a potential employer, so it's important to get it right. If you have, you probably know about how difficult and annoying they can be to write. But now, imagine writing a resume in a different language for a job in a new country. If it were me, I wouldn't even know where to start. This is the challenge that many new immigrants face when job hunting. To dive a little deeper into the problem, I'd like to introduce you to Peter. Peter is a new immigrant coming to Canada. He's looking for and applying for jobs, but he is finding it difficult. as he doesn't know where to start. The job application process is completely different from his old country, so it feels foreign, confusing, and scary. He doesn't even have access to a computer due to financial issues, so he can't make a proper resume. Additionally, his poor English is making it difficult to effectively communicate his skills to a potential employer. Even if Peter has great qualifications from their home country, these barriers may leave them lost in translation. The inability to make a well-written resume could cost them many job opportunities, and they may end up with a job position that they're overqualified for. Many immigrants are at a disadvantage when it comes to the job hunting game, and this is the inequity we hope to solve with our app, Resumer.
At first, we struggled to find a problem space we wanted to tackle. Originally, we had planned a much broader, community-based app that helped immigrants to find new support groups and opportunities. However, we decided not to go with this idea because we felt that this problem had already been more or less solved by other social media apps. Eventually, we settled on the immigrant job problem space, as there aren't any apps that directly tackle this inequity.
From our observation in our interviews, we learned about how immigrants currently try to fix their own job hunting issues. They get their children, relative, or friends to help them, or they look for local immigrant support communities, or they hire people to write their resumes for them. These solutions do work, but they have a bigger barrier of entry. Our app makes writing or getting help easier to access, as you don't need to have any previous connections or knowledge to start writing. We are also one of the few apps that serve a mobile audience when it comes to resume building. One of our app's key features was to have a community-based forum where the user can post their resume to get feedback and advice from other people. There also would have been other discussion boards for advice on CVs, interviews, and other job-related topics that a new immigrant might struggle with. Unfortunately, due to a lack of time, we were unable to implement the community features in the final product, but hopefully in the near future it can all be implemented.
Peter decides to download our app to get help making his resume. Resumer currently supports English, French, and simplified Chinese. After a brief splash screen while the app sets up for the first time, Peter is greeted with the Chinese version of the app based on his phone's set language. For the sake of demonstration though, let's take a look at the English version. Peter navigates to his profile, where he begins adding information about his experiences, education, achievements, and more. The app guides him through the process using easy-to-understand dialogues and an intuitive card-based system. Looks like Peter's not sure how to describe his experience, so he consults a hint provided by Resumer for some inspiration. Much better. Whoops! Looks like Peter forgot to enter a required field for this experience. Luckily, Resumer checks that everything is in order for him and reminds him with a warning. Maybe that experience was a little lackluster. Peter can easily remove items from his profile by clicking on the X, though Resumer will double check to make sure that he's sure before deleting it. Resumer automatically saves everything to a file on Peter's phone, so there's no need to worry about getting everything done in one go or losing progress. Feel free to put that phone down and take a break. With his profile all set up, Peter's ready to make his first resume by clicking on the Create Resume button. Resumer makes the process blazing fast. After introducing himself to his prospective employer, all he needs to do is select the right items from his profile to make him stand out. Peter's not sure if the McDonald's career he had is enough to impress. No worries, he can select and deselect items as much as he wants. Once Peter is satisfied with his resume, he clicks on the Preview button. Resumer exports his resume to a PDF file. From here, Peter can use Android's Share feature to wirelessly send it to a nearby device or printer. If Peter had Google Drive or Gmail installed on his phone, he could also save or email it right away via those apps. Peter also saves the file directly to his phone. He can come back to Resumer, Continue to make changes and download another copy at any time. Good luck job hunting, Peter!
The development team worked in collaboration to build the app. During development, we struggled with figuring out how to store the data, add linear layouts to fragments, and how to implement threads. It took a long time to figure out how to save the profile information and the resume locally. We had some options to choose from, such as a client-side SQL and an online database. But after some research, we found that using JSON files worked best as it was the easiest to use. Another problem we had was the app taking a long time to load. Because our app has a lot of parts, we implemented multi-threading to allow the app to run faster and create a smoother user experience. Multi-threading allows multiple pieces of code to run at the same time, which dramatically reduces loading times. Lastly, there were problems loading the linear layouts inside the fragments in the resume editor. Despite all of these setbacks, our talented developers made it all work.
Although our app does not solve the entire problem of the job inequity for new immigrants, we hope this tool will be able to aid immigrants on their resume writing and job hunting journey. Thank you for watching our presentation.
Awesome. So that was Team NFTeam for you all. And FYI, Team Mediminder, you're up next. But I guess NFTeam, we have Leticia, Arthur, Peter, Kevin, Bahar, Tony, and Aki with us today. And the mentors who mentored this team are Richard, Peter, and Yoon. So they created an app called Resume to help immigrants with applying new jobs in a new country. And I heard that your team is called the non-failure team. So hopefully they don't get failed by Stanley. So Stanley, what do you have to say?
No, that was really good. Thanks for sharing that. Can I ask questions? I can ask questions, right? Yeah? Yes, okay. Okay. So yeah, I love the presentation. I love the introduction you had there and how you kind of worked through the different problem spaces and identified this as an area you wanted to focus on. So really interesting thing that you've done there. You talked about some of the challenges that immigrants face, or like, you know, what are the like constraints that they experience in kind of moving to a new place. I'm curious about, like, from your research and from your kind of kind of working in this area, what are some of the most common mistakes that you see immigrants make when they're looking for a new job in a new kind of culture or new country?
They tend.
Oh, Leticia, you can go.
Okay. They tend to not know how to structure a resume to fit Canadian standards. So one of our users' interviews, they mentioned that the way that resumes are written in their home country is just completely different from Canada. So they're kind of lost when they come to Canada and they don't know how to apply.
What were some of the? I mean, you shared an example of like a Korean format and a Canadian format. Was there something really specific about the formats that is different? Because on one hand, is like, yes, you know, the sheet itself looks different, but are there differences in terms of the information, what is valued, what is prioritized, the cultural communication in terms of, you know, what you care about in the workplace? Like, were there any other of those differences as well that you noticed, and what were some of them?
Off the top of my head, in Korea, they require photos in your resumes, while we don't do that here in Canada. I think there's other differences with information, but I don't quite remember.
So if I just the last one, just extending off that. So based on what you've seen in terms of the bigger challenges, what did you seek to solve in your application? Like, what were you looking to address, and how did you solve it?
We were looking. Sorry, go ahead.
All right. The main goal of our app was to provide a way for immigrants to have a sort of equalizer in the playing field for a job application, because oftentimes with creating resumes, you might expect expertise in Word or LaTeX or some other sort of formatting software, and also like a solid understanding of what employers are looking for. And so that's something that immigrants are often lacking just in terms of knowledge. And so our app tries to help them sort of have a starting point and have like a sort of guided format, and also removes the need for something like a PC, which is also another factor, as more people have access to mobile phones than computers. So we just hope to make things more accessible for people coming into a new country.
No, yes, that's a really good answer. Thank you. That really helped me understand kind of how the train of thought in terms of what you understood, what you saw, what do you seek to address and solve in terms of the solution that you had. So yeah, that was very helpful for me to understand that. Thank you. That's all from me. Justin?
Yeah, and this is more for, I guess, a design question for the designers. What are some of the design trade-offs that you have to make during the when you're coming up with the ideas all the way to executing it? Can you share with us what those trade-offs are?
No.
Could you repeat the question real quick?
Yeah, the question is that during the phase of your entire, when you're coming up with ideas all the way to executing your project, what are some of the design trade-offs you have to make, and whether you could share with us some of these trade-offs?
Do you mean like the challenges we had to face?
Certain decisions where, it's A or B, and then you have to your team is like, debating whether we should go with A or B, and what are some of these choices you have to make, and why did you go with a specific decision?
So when we were coming up with the idea, we kind of had this point. We had to decision to narrow down the idea. So the first idea was kind of broader than just this immigrant we have right now, and we had this point we had to choose on which way we want to go, and on what problem we want to choose specifically to make the app about. And I think that is the point where we had the most debate on.
And how do you make that decision when you have that conflict?
We had a lot of team meetings, and we had a lot of conversations about different problems, and we came up with this one.
Okay. Is there a specific criteria you use to determine if we check off certain factors, we'll go with decision A, if we check on other factors, or any other criteria you use to help with those decision making?
I think we interviewed people and asked them what they think is the most the worst problem that they need solution for, I think. But yeah.
Okay. And then one more quick follow-up is from that, I'll switch it up a little bit to a product question. Among all the problems that you have in that space, obviously job application itself is a very huge space. Why do you specifically choose this to solve? Why is this the most important problem to solve? And this goes for anybody in the team.
I guess, I hope you guys don't mind. I'm kind of sick today, so I think I'm going to sound quite dead. But I feel like the reason that since careers and everything, it's such a huge thing to tackle, and why do we pick to do resumes is because the theme of this year obviously is about equity, and equity means regardless of who you are, where you come from, having the same access to opportunities as everyone else. And we feel like resumes were a huge barrier to that access to immigrants, because they might be just as qualified as anyone else, but because of a resume, they didn't have the same access to those opportunities as somebody else, despite there being no real differences. And that's why we want to tackle resumes, is because we feel like that's where really the bringing about equity is about. It's about giving everybody the same access to those opportunities.
Okay. Carly, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. This is a really good idea. It comes from people that you've interviewed and talked to. I want to see if you interviewed the employer's perspective. So, what are some common things that they have be a challenge when hiring or looking for someone to fill in a specific job? Did you do any research with that group?
Well, okay. I guess I'll go on this. Well, we didn't have too much direct interviews with employers. I will admit that. I've interviewed some people, including my mom, and obviously she's been working here. She immigrated here with us, and she's been working here for a long time. So she has a lot of experience. And I think some of those sentiments she was getting from her employers, both current and previous, was that it was really hard for them to really connect sometimes because there's a language barrier. So even if they felt like this person was qualified, like some of the positions my mom was qualified for, they feel like because she couldn't properly explain herself, they didn't really feel as confident going into that. So I think if she, I think this is why it's important. If she had maybe a clear resume or something where it's written down and it was clear to the employer what she knew and what she was capable of, I think that would have definitely helped her and the employer kind of communicate more clearly.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thanks for the answer. I have a technical question. Do we still have time? One question is, there's a hint feature. I'm really curious. How does that work?
I'd answer this one. That's just a dialogue that the user can click on if they're feeling confused as to what to put into a certain field. And we included those for certain more, crucial or non-self-explanatory areas, such as descriptions and introductions, because we feel like those are often points of confusion. Maybe not from an immigrant perspective, but more from a student perspective. When we were writing our first resumes as students, we often didn't really know what to put into the introduction field and stuff. We were confused as to what the employer was looking for. And so sort of mirroring that, I think it can be helpful to have some guidance, even if you are an experienced worker, maybe you just need a refresher at times. And so we provide that option there.
So is it a collection of popular phrases that can be used and then you let the person pick and choose?
At the moment, it's just a quick explanation of what the field is looking for and some tips as where to start.
Okay, good. Thank you. One other question is, you mentioned multi-threading and that some things take a lot of time. Do you know what parts of the project or the software took a lot of time?
Yes. The way that we save resumes is that we keep them as each resume gets its own save file on the device. And so when you are loading those resumes from the storage, it requires some time. And so if you keep all of that work on the main thread, the app will freeze. And we really wanted to avoid that because it makes the app feel unresponsive and provides a poor user experience. And so what we did was we implemented a secondary thread to have the app load the data in the background while keeping the app responsive on the main thread.
Right. Thank you. Good job.
Oh man, like writing these resumes really got me very stressed. And I totally forgot that actually CompSci reject is neg, not Mediminder. Sorry, trying to write resume for a new job is just stressing me out. But hopefully I get to use your app to do some of these dirty works. But the rest of you all, if you all think that this team should pass, why don't you guys vote for them? So Do you guys think they pass or fail? Don't know. But all right, Leah, it's time to bring out the next group.
Thank you, Janice. Okay, so we have Team CompSci Rejects up right now, and Team Mediminder, you're up next, so be prepared. Okay, with Team CompSci Rejects, we have Sophie, Oscar, Ciro, Jason, Jeffrey, and Peter. Their mentors are Adrian, Jeff, and Colin. Well, all I can say now is I don't have the judge reject you since CompSci already rejected you. You'll be fine though, I think. So good luck on your presentation.
Today, we'll explain how our app One Touch is aimed to help seniors use technology so that they can better communicate in this digital era. We will have 4 parts to this presentation. Why is it hard for seniors to use technology? Why is it important for seniors to communicate using technology? How we solve this problem, and a short demo. So, why is it hard for seniors to use technology? To explain this, we need to learn a little bit about jobs theory. Jobs theory is a term in design that basically states over time we use different technology to achieve jobs we need to do. For example, if you wanted to communicate with someone far away before smartphones were invented, you would use the landline phones or mail, compared to now when we can just use our smartphones. Regardless, the job here of messaging someone far away is the same. But people just don't use any product that is new, shiny, and supposedly better. They adopt certain new technologies because of push and pull factors. An example could be, for the one above, is your connection is spotty when you talk to people using a landline. But with a smartphone, you can call from anywhere. However, when it comes to seniors adopting smartphones, there are some factors that make it difficult, such as cognitive health decline, was that memory, learning, and ability to think clearly decreases with age. Your environment, it's harder to adopt tech when you're not forced to do it for work or school. Rapidly advancing technology, which can be difficult with cognitive health issues and accessibility issues. Seniors may find themselves blocked from services they need, like emotional support from loved ones. It's hard for seniors and their family to use different technology to communicate, causing communication to occur less frequently and risking negative impacts of isolation. To prevent this, we need to remove the barriers blocking seniors from using tech. Well, we can reduce the strain on their cognitive skills by using shortcuts. Shortcuts are buttons that, when tapped, execute a series of actions in an app. It's similar to when you talk to Google Assistant to call Kevin or something, but it doesn't use your voice. Say you want to message your sister. Instead of needing you to learn and remember how to find your sister's contact, type your message, and send it, you can just tap on a shortcut which will take you directly to your messages with her.
Okay, so we are using the thing called shortcuts to make it easier. But look it up, doesn't Android already come with shortcuts?
Yes, it does. But we currently support apps like Facebook that are not available by default Android shortcuts. As Android shortcuts expand and more apps become available to use, we plan to have users be able to share the shortcuts they make with others. For example, I could create a shortcut for my grandma to message her sister, send it to her, and say, if you want to talk to her, just tap this button.
Oh, okay.
For a quick demo, Oscar is going to use his grandma's phone to set up messaging for her.
Okay, so here is a quick demonstration of our app. We're just going to demonstrate it using Facebook, searching on Facebook, and WhatsApp messaging and Google Maps. So first one, we're going to do searching on Facebook. So what you have to do is select the Facebook shortcut, put in whatever the item you're trying to search at, customize your shortcut with a name, and then you can create the shortcut. And in this case, once you press the shortcut, it's going to direct you right away into the interface of searching. In this case, searching for an iPhone. So in this case, we can save time for our users because they no longer have to, navigate from screen to screen, because this would just automatically take them there, aka like a shortcut. The next one we're going to do is using WhatsApp. In this case, we're sharing something, sending something on WhatsApp. In this case, all we need is an input, the things we're sending here. You can also customize your shortcut with different custom icons. In this case, you can select a color and you can select a different icon. And we also have to give it a name. And we create it, you press it, It's going to take you to WhatsApp, and then you can send that message to a specific group. In this case, see Hello World. Okay. The last shortcut we have already made it prior to doing this, just to save some time, is our Google Maps. In this case, is taking us to the location of school. So this is another shortcut our app has. In this case, it can take us to our school, and then users can use that as kind of navigation and saving like certain locations, bookmarking certain locations on the map. And that's a brief demonstration. We also have a lot of other shortcuts. This is just a brief demonstration. And yeah.
And that's all. We thank you for watching.
Thanks, team. We have a very curious judge here eager to ask you questions, and their name is... Hey Siri, who's the judge? Okay, I don't have the shortcut set up, so I think the paper... Oh, it's Justin. Okay, CompSci rejects. You may have been... CompSci may have rejected you, but you can't reject Justin.
Thank you, Leah. So I have a question. So based on what you guys are saying in the presentation, that you talk to the users to get some, I guess, pain points of what they're facing. I'm just curious, how do you, and maybe perhaps the question is, what sort of mechanism you have used to validate that the pain points are actually the most important pain points for the users that can be converted into actually using your application?
Well, during our user research, we talked to many users, seniors who use their phone, and we had lots of feedback around technology, around, for example, problems with messaging people, problems with sending photos, problems with, at the time, the vaccine passport was in use, so problems opening that to actually go into stores. And we really felt that this area, this problem space, was very, for everybody we talked to, no matter if they were younger helping a senior or if they were a senior themselves, they knew somebody who had experienced difficulties with technology, and that's when we knew it was a problem space everyone could relate to. Did that answer your question?
Let's dive a little bit deeper, right? So people always say, yeah, build this, I'll use it. So the question is, how do you know they will actually use it? Is there a way that you have deployed some sort of research that you have utilized to validate that?
Oh, so if we build the shortcuts, are people going to actually use it, or just let it sit on their phone? You know?
Yeah, or is it something they just say, like, hey, build this for me and I'll use it, but then they don't.
Actually, I have a funny story about that. If you don't mind, I'll use a personal anecdote for that. When I set up my phone for my grandmother, they told me to clean up her phone because it was a mess. And what I did was I set up, at the time, Android had shortcuts on there, which we talked about. So I set up default Android shortcuts to message me. And even though she wasn't messaging me as much before, soon I started getting text messages from her, just about random things. But I started actually getting text messages from her. And that's when it kind of hit me like, oh, okay, it's not because she didn't want to message me, it's because now it's easier for her to do that. So if that validates, I hope that validates it using an Android shortcuts, but just shortcuts in general.
Okay, I'm going to give some time to other judges like Stan and Carly.
Thanks. This is a very interesting question because I have seniors in my family as well who are so terrified of using a smartphone. And in fact, they don't even want to use one right now. So what would you say to someone who is currently not a phone user?
Well, if you don't mind, I can answer it again, but it's not a tool. This product was built in mind that we actually started first off with thinking, okay, how do we help seniors use technology? But sometimes we just have to accept that not all seniors are going to be comfortable with using technology. And you know what? That's okay. Weirdly enough, that's okay if they don't want to. But maybe there comes a point when somebody is trying to get something done, and they can only do that using through technology. For example, we give the example of communication, but there are many others. Ordering medicine, maybe you can't. Maybe ordering groceries. Maybe you can't go to the store anymore, and you need to phone in groceries, but it's only an online service. As our world gets more and more integrated with technology, there may come a point when those people who don't use phones may be forced to use phones to do something they need to do. And that's when we can say, okay, here you go. So to put it simply, it's not a matter of forcing people to use phones. It's when they need to use phones, our app will be there. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does answer my question. Thank you. So I think moving forward, maybe one of the things you can ask is, what are the things that people cannot do if they did not have a phone?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, with nowadays, it's like everything, but maybe not. Maybe not.
I had a question as well. I'm curious about who do you see as the user for this app? Is it seniors? Is it someone else?
This is a very interesting question that we actually struggled a lot while we were designing it. Originally, one of our members, Peter, who actually proposed the idea of this problem space, works at a senior volunteers to help seniors with tech support. So we were originally actually planning it. Let me rephrase that. It's right now, it's meant to actually be so that somebody else can help you set up the shortcuts. But if you're comfortable enough with technology, I believe you said it in the video as well, seniors can also try to set it up on their own. So it's sort of both ways. It helps multiple people. It helps if I'm trying to set something up for my senior in my family. It helps me because I don't have to keep on going back and saying, how do you do this? And it also helps the senior because they don't have to keep on asking me how to do this with their phone. So it's built thinking of those two parties.
That's really cool. And then maybe a second more technical question is, I'm curious about how the app interacts with the other apps. And I guess a follow on from that as well is like, if an app gets updated, does that break your app?
Yeah.
I can answer that. If the app updates, it shouldn't break it because our app is made by using intent and web links. Mostly is either the app's intent or website URLs. Unless the designer for that certificate, like the shortcut app, decides to change that, which they usually shouldn't. It's very rare for an app to change these things. It shouldn't have a problem with updating. The only foreseeable issue I could maybe see is permission issues because right now there's a lot of problems with like digital security, and a lot of these app developers want to make their app like more private. Like they don't want other developers to mess around with it. And then maybe if they implement an update that, like for example, like an app like WeChat. Initially, WeChat supported a lot of these intent functions, but recently they actually removed a lot of them because of permission issues. I think that would be most likely if an update were to do it. But I think if that to happen, then there's not much we could do about it.
No, that's a really, really good point you make. And like, sorry, promise, this is the last question. So if I was thinking about if you're going to deploy this application tomorrow and, OSs are being more and more locked down, applications are becoming more kind of intentional about how they're handling permissions and, who gets to access the APIs and all that kind of stuff. how do you see your application continuing to be useful, continuing to be able to access other applications? Are there other ways that you can do that? Is intents and so the links like being the only way? Are there other kind of approaches that you could be leveraging to scale your application over time? And maybe there isn't. It's okay. I'm just curious if there's anything comes to your mind right now.
It's something that comes. This is something that I was kind of playing around with, was because our is still, we were mostly asking other apps to I know there's apps online, that kind of omits the permission by kind of just accessing it directly, but we didn't want to make a virus. So we didn't really want to touch that area that much, because I think that's a little bit beyond from like what we can do right now. We didn't want Android to think our app's a virus and starts like fighting against Android. So we're right now for this app in particular, we mainly use functions that the app developers has already given us. We didn't really, we didn't really go over that because we didn't want to make a virus essentially.
Yeah, that's going to be a technical constraint, right? But no, that's great. And that's how you get kicked out of the Play Store, right? So don't do that. Yeah. So that's great. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Does a user need an account to use your application?
So not currently. Not currently. Oh, sorry. If you were going to say, you can chime in. But it's planned to. So when our app right now, our kind of selling point is that we have these shortcuts that are not available by default. But as it expands, going forward, what we plan to do is we plan to allow users to, for example, I can make a shortcut to somebody and send it to somebody else. And then they could use that shortcut. So we plan to have, because of that, we plan to have accounts for security reason, but because that sharing feature is not there yet, we do not need accounts at this time.
So in other words, if I don't need an account, you're assuming that we're already logged in with Facebook and WhatsApp and so on that device. Is that true?
Yeah, I can answer that. Yeah. So how the app would work. So let's say if you were to have if let's say you were to set up like a Facebook shortcut. If you don't have Facebook installed, it would directly to the Play Store. If you haven't logged in onto Facebook, it would direct you to the login screen. If you have it installed and also logged in, it would just automatically direct you to the shortcut.
Okay, good. Thank you. That answers my question.
That wasn't too bad, right? Yeah, well, not bad. Great job fielding Justin's questions. He indeed was the final boss, but then we threw in Carly and Stan in there. You didn't completely GG, so that's great. If for our audience, if you want to support the team, do not forget to vote for them. By the way, the top 2 teams right now competing for People's Choice are tied. So get voting, and then maybe like other teams will like shoot up to the top as well. Okay, so who's up next on the chopping block? Who's up next on the lineup, Janice?
Oh, I forgot to press the audio button. So let's redo that. Okay, Leah, next up we have Team Mediminder, and this time is the real time for you to shine. So on Team Mediminder, we have Elaine, Boris, Prabjeet, Andrew, and Herman, who were all mentored by Kevin, Vivian, and Ron. And their app, it aims to help elderly folks who have physical impairments like deteriorating dexterity and eyesight to use technology they use the most. So let's take a look in a bit more detail.
Hello, my name is Elaine D, and today, along with my teammates Herman Fitzner, Boris Zhang, Andrew Yan, and Prabjeet Holthy, we'll be presenting our app, Mediminder. Mediminder is an app that's geared towards older adults and doctors with patients who are older adults, and aims to help facilitate the common activities where they type a lot, namely texting and writing reminders, while not doing it for them immediately. We decided to do it this way, as older adults tend to have declining eyesight and dexterity, which makes typing on phones difficult, but doing it for them tends to give or enforce a feeling of helplessness. Some seniors, most notably those that live with that caretakers, feel. We decided to go with a corkboard theme that will be the first thing they see. The sticky notes that appear here will be marked as important. In the future, we also hope to add a widget or persistent notification, so that notifications will be more noticeable as compared to simply appearing once and then getting dismissed and sometimes forgotten. This corkboard format is also something that they are more familiar with, but with the extra perks of being portable and making noise compared to a normal corkboard. They can also organize their notes how they like. For the prescription part of the app, there are two versions that are necessary. There's the doctor version and the patient version. In the doctor version, these top 4 sections are editable, and in the patient section, they're not. Though the other note section can be edited in both versions. This is so that the patient can word things in that way that makes sense to them, and write things about the medication they think is important, and give them some sense of confidence and control while still making the main important things. Don't accidentally get mislogged. In the messaging portion of the app, it's a simple texting setup. The notable feature here is this button. This turns the text into a note. This is where we can reuse and transfer text, which is the main value we were hoping to provide. The Move Convert button also has a similar function, but it works both ways. It takes an entire message of text and then effectively copy-pastes it. The difference between this and run-of-the-mill copy-pasting is that here, as opposed to trying to fiddle with dragging around a little cursor with tiny text, it just takes an entire chunk, and then the user can add or delete, which is just typing what they need to and holding down the delete button. It's more useful in this small context of text messages, since people tend to type smaller chunks of text, maybe 3 or 4 sentences max, as opposed to an entire email or document. Meaning if they want just a little bit of information from the text, it's not just moving the pane from fiddling with the cursor to trying to copy or to fiddling with the cursor trying to delete. This button also appears on the other notes area and effectively has the same function of adding text from either a note or a text message.
Alright, this would be such a useful app, especially when I'm getting older and I need to take more medication. What do you think, Carly?
I think it's a very good idea, maybe even for vitamins and vitamins to take every day when we're not as old yet. I have a question about the doctor's section. Who enters that information?
There would supposedly be a partner app, except what? Sorry. There would be a partner app which would look very similar, and that's where the doctors would input. It would be I'm sorry. I said section in the video. I just realized now it's supposed to be like a partner app.
So that part is pretty much the prescription details from the pharmacy or your doctor. Got it. This is a very interesting idea. What did you find from your research? Like, what are the most common things that seniors forget?
Typically it's things that it's typically like new things or irregular things, or things that might be regular, but it's over like a longer period of time, like a month or weeks, such.
And so which one do you think yours addresses first?
Probably the ones that are more sporadic.
So not the regular ones, things that happen maybe
It
a couple
can.
times a year?
It can for either, seeing as there's a function in the when you're turning a note into a reminder. There's a function where you can just like put in however frequently.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. You mentioned that the messages can be organized. How do you do that organization?
I mean, what I was trying to say is something like, you have like the contents of the messages, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the content of the notes, right? So then like it's the whiteboard part is kind of like a map, and you can like click and drag, put the notes, like you can have like all the stuff about this here and all the stuff about this there.
Got it. Got it. So
color-coded
it's
and
more
stuff.
like a visual organization that you can drag and drop. Okay, thank you. Good idea. Any questions from the other judges?
I have one. I think it's more for yourself, Elaine. What is the biggest challenge that you have to undergo in this project, and how did you overcome it?
Probably trying to research and trying to like talk to so many different people, since I am not a very social person. Yeah.
Okay. And then maybe I'll follow up that with a second question, and that is, if you have to do this all over again, is there anything you would change up when you know, since you say research, you're not very sociable, how would you change the approach to help you improve that area?
I would probably like, because what happened a lot is like I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this, and then I chickened, and so I ended up getting a lot less information than I would have liked. Probably like have some sort of a motivation for myself. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's something that you can go away thinking a little bit about, like if you got to redo this, how you're gonna improve on that segment. Stan, do you have any questions?
No big ones here. I was curious, following up from Kali's conversation with you earlier on like the doctors and the patients and things like that. Curious about, as you think about the next iteration for this application, you're thinking about, you know, the type of audiences that you have to work with, or you should work with. How would you approach that problem, or how would you approach that, you know, in terms of the UI, in terms of how your application is going to work? What will you change, basically?
I would probably like, for one thing, flesh out more of the doctor side, because right now it's very focused on the senior side. And for the senior side, I would probably like want to like change it up more, hopefully once I would be able to gather more research.
Mm-hmm. No, that's great. And I'll say that as someone who is very awkward socially as well. I'm very proud that you put yourself out there and talk to people, because that's the best way to learn. And, you know, you get better as time goes by. So I want to honor you for that as well. Thanks.
Okay, great conversation, everyone. And be sure to give this team an apple for all the hard work that they've done. So, cool. Those are the first 3 teams to this year's competition. And it's always exciting to see how students approach the given themes and then find a problem in that space and then create solutions for. So, now I wonder what kind of big problems our past students are currently working on now.
I'll tell you something that I always tell myself, because I'm sure some of these students are probably going to university next year or are going to be close to. University gets tough, and sometimes workloads are overwhelming. And I'm sure if you're in Game of Apps and you are quite an ambitious student, and you'll find yourself in times where you'll have multiple deadlines in a very short period of time, and you're just going to kind of question why you're doing any of this to yourself. But one thing I like to remind myself of is learning is a privilege, and receiving a higher education is also a privilege. And there's many people around the world who don't even have the opportunity or the right to go to school, whether it's their gender or their country's at war, whatever it may be. The fact that your only worry, or maybe one of your very few worries, is your next assignment or test, is a privilege, and it's a gift to learn. Truly, I mean, no harm, no foul to whatever you're learning. So count your blessings, and when you get overwhelmed, just take a step back and remind yourself that it's a privilege.
All right, that was definitely a very inspiring message from our past student. And even though it might have been a little bit stuttery, you can actually find these videos on our YouTube channel, and you can see what all of our students or all of our past students are doing. And it's always exciting to see how they can take concepts that they've learned in Game of Apps and then they apply it in the real world.
Yeah, totally. And you know what? That's why at Game of Apps, we not only teach students how to design and code apps, but we also teach them how to solve ambiguous problems.
Yeah, definitely some food for thought there. And in any case, we'll take a short break now and make sure you all come back right away.
Wait, Janice. Before we go, did anyone catch any of the imposters during the pitch presentations? I think
That's
more
right,
will
the one who
appear
guessed-
later, so
Yeah.
tune in to catch them all.
Yeah. So that is right. The one who guesses the correct number of imposters who appeared on screen will win a prize at the end of the show. And with that, we're going to take a break now. And when we come back, we have 2 more teams left. And I heard the dev mentors have a little something for us.
Awesome. See you all in a bit.
Hello, everyone, and it's great to see all of you back. So during the course of the program, we have had these weekly coding challenges where the mentors would pose a coding problem, and then the students would try to solve it. And there were also a lot of prizes involved. So while the last two teams are getting ready, we have one final coding challenge and another mini game for you all. So for this segment's mini game, we're going to have a few mentors on screen, and what you'll have to do is spot a mentor who is different amongst the rest of us. And if you do, comment in the chat and or say the name of which mentor has the or it looks a little different. And the first person who makes that guess will win a prize, and we'll announce that prize later on in another segment.
Yeah, it's
So,
like the
Leah?
Lars Waldo version of Game of Apps. Well, with that, let's invite all the other mentors to the stage. Hey, Ron, Joanne, and Richard. What do you guys have in store for us today?
We're not going to try not to spoil too much about.
Hello. Hello, I'm Ron. I'm a backend developer mentor, and right now I'm currently working at Brain Test, which makes a scientifically validated cognitive test to help patients diagnose Alzheimer's and cognitive decline.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joanne. I'm a dev mentor with Game of Apps, and this is my first year with the group. I'm currently a software engineer at Cisco. I'm working on a platform for testing and verifying all Cisco hardware products before they ship.
Hello, all. My name is Richard. Nice seeing you today. I work as a software engineer at Google by day. I make Pixel phone that's loved by millions of users around the world. And by night, Tuesday night specifically, I'm a Game of Apps mentor. All right. So here today, I actually have a problem that I need you guys' help. So guys, the problem here is that I have too many walks and I really need to organize them. Otherwise, Justin is going to keep talking about my walks in season 6. So I need help. Please help me organize my walks. I would like to sort my walks from the smallest to the largest, but I don't know how to do it. So guys, I need help. Can someone help me figure out a way to do this?
Well, one way to go about sorting these walks is called selection sort. So basically, you're going to sort your walks by repeatedly finding the smallest walk from your top rack, that unsorted part of your collection, and adding it to your bottom rack.
Okay.
So, to find the walk.
That's a small. So I guess I'll start from this. So this, we have one walk. If we go to 2, which one is smallest here? I guess this one is smaller.
Yeah, it looks like the second one's smaller. Yeah.
So if we try to go one more, is this smaller? Which one is smaller among these 3? I guess this one's still smaller.
Yeah.
Still the second one.
Okay. So if we keep going, this one is still the smaller. And then if we look at all 5, this one is smaller. So I guess this is the small spot currently among the selection. So I should take it and put it on the bottom rack. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that's one. So what do I do next? So it seems like one walk figured out, but what about the others?
Yeah, so you repeat the same process. You look at your top rack of unsorted walks still, and then you try to find the smallest one.
This one is 1. Among these 2, this one is smaller. If I look at all 3, this one's still the smallest. If I look at all 4, the remaining, this one is still the smallest. So I guess I'll just do what we did earlier again. I'll just take this walk and put it on the bottom. And this is, we now got 2 walks figured out. So let's see. So do we just keep doing the process again until we see all 5?
Yeah. Just do all of them until all the walks are sorted.
1, 2. This is smaller. So this is the smallest one. If we look at all 3, that is smaller. So we take the current smallest one, and then we'll put it on the bottom rack. So now if we see 2. So now if we see these two, this one is smallest, so we'll take this and then we'll put it on the bottom. And now there's only one left. I guess we'll just take this and put it on the rack. All right, so looks like all my walks are sorted from the smallest to largest. This is the smallest, second smallest, the middle, second largest, and largest. Cool. Thank you, Joanne, for helping me figure out this. I wonder if you could show us a little bit more insight on how this worked.
Sure. Can someone bring up the first slide? Yeah, so basically, this code sample sorts so how we did it, how Richard did it was he organized or sorted his walks by having technically two arrays. So a top rack of unsorted walks and then a bottom rack of sorted walks. In this code sample, actually, it's sorting the walks in place. So basically the outer for loop keeps track of the current spot you want to find the smallest walk for. And so you're going to sort for the first spot, then the second spot, and so on up to the second to last spot. And in the inner for loop, you're basically comparing you're comparing the walk at the current spot to all the walks to the right of it. And what you're trying to find is the smallest walk amongst all of them. And so after finding the smallest walk, you would perform a swap to get the smallest walk in the current spot that you were trying to sort for. And basically the walk that's in the current spot would be swapped to where the smallest walk used to be. And so after doing it in one pass, you would repeat this process for finding the second smallest walk for the second spot, third smallest walk for the third spot, and so on up to the second last spot to sort all the walks. And so, yeah, that's basically how selection sort works in code.
Thank you, Joanne, for explaining. So it seems like now I got a new problem. So I still got these walks that are on here. They are in random order. But the thing is, my bottom rack is full. Like I have stuff on it, so I cannot really use the second rack for temporal storage for sorting. So it seems like I need help again on how do I rearrange these walks now that I don't have much space to work with.
All right. Well, I think I have a better solution, and we call it walk sort.
Ooh.
So let's give this a go. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually just look and compare the walks, two walks at the same time. And if one of them is smaller, then you want to basically swap them.
Okay.
Yeah,
so do I start from the left side as well?
Yeah, exactly. Let's start from the left side as well.
So if I compare these two, it seems like this is smaller. So does that mean I swap them?
Yep, that's right.
All right. So I'm not using any extra space, just the current space that I have. Okay, what do I do next?
Okay, so now we know that the first one is obviously smaller. So now we look at the second and third walk. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
and now
so
we also see which
this is smaller, so I swap them again.
Correct.
Okay, so now I just repeat the process and keep going.
That's right, until you find a walk that's not smaller.
This one is smaller, this one's larger, so I'm going to swap these two.
Yep.
Okay, now I look at the last two. See, based on Ron's algorithm, this is bigger, this is smaller, so I'm going to swap them again.
That's right.
Okay. So it seems like we went through a round of swapping. Do we have to go again?
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning again and see if you have to continue swapping.
Okay. So it seems like if we look at the first two, this is already smaller. So it seems like we don't need to swap it.
Yeah. So let's move on.
So look at these two. This is already bigger than this, or does it seem like we don't need to swap anything?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then we look at these two. Well, this one seems wrong because this is smaller and this is bigger. So it seems like we should swap these two again.
That's right.
Okay. Now with the last two, this is bigger, this is smaller, so this is okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so looking at it right now, it looks like we've got a sorted walk array.
Wow, small. Yes, you're exactly right, Ron. This is actually sorted. Thank you so much for your help. And I didn't even use up any extra space. I only used the existing space and just kind of swapped them. I was wondering if you can walk us through how the code works.
Yeah, for sure. So let's bring up the second slide. All right. So this one is slightly different from the first algorithm we used, but it's quite similar. But the big difference is that we don't need to create a second array to store the walks temporarily. So we just do everything in place. And what we want to do is basically we just go in and compare and check to see that the elements are, if they're smaller, then we do a swap. And if not, we don't. And then we basically increasingly move along the array until we know that we have a sorted array. So in the worst case scenario, we could be doing a lot of work, but because we have a basically reverse sorted array already. So, from largest walks on the left to smallest on the right. So we could end up doing a lot of work, but in the average case, most likely you won't have that scenario. So just like today, we only did a couple swaps. So it's a little bit quicker. So that's how we sort.
Thank you, Ron, for walking us through the code. This is us proving to Justin that not only can I talk the talk, I can also walk the walk.
Wow, Richard, I see you got your walk sorted. I still think you need just one walk in life, not 5.
Or maybe I'll get 6 walks for season 6.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Ron, team, Richard, Joanne, and some real Lim Shady. Well, that was a very interesting skit. As a designer, I think I finally understand how to code now, and I think you guys should continue with these. Maybe come up with like a engineering Blues Clues series. I don't know, something like that. But so was also wondering, did anyone notice that one of the 3 mentors was the odd one out? If you do notice something that was a little sus, please comment on the YouTube live stream and you might win a little something. So?
Yeah. We'll announce the winners of the mini games after the presentation. Anyway, who do we have next, Janice?
Yeah, so we have Team Alt F4 next, and Team Pneumo, you will be the last one coming on. So here on Team Alt F4, we have Sean, Brian, Melody, Travis, Kelly, and Kilmin. And this team was mentored by Wilbur, Linda, and Tony. So what their app is that they focus on tackling the topic of mental health among high school students. So let's take a look at how they solve this issue with their app.
For our project, we chose to focus on mental health inequity because it is an issue that impacts a lot of people, yet is seldom discussed and often avoided because of a prevalent stigma surrounding the topic of mental health and because of a significant lack of education regarding the subject. This has created a lot of misconceptions regarding mental health, which affects all types of people, but especially the younger generation. Because of this, we chose to make an app that would be a space for people to share their thoughts safely. Inequity in mental health can be primarily seen among high school and post-secondary students, with those aged 15 to 24 being the most vulnerable to mental illnesses like anxiety and depression than any other age group. More than 80% of children and youth in Canada are unable to receive appropriate treatment because of a lack of effective outreach from professionals, its general absence in education, and a negative image society has painted about the topic as a whole. Young adults are often blamed by others around them if their mental well-being is poor, which in turn makes them blame themselves for their poor mental state. This further increases the inequity because it discourages them from seeking outside help and assistance for fear of being vulnerable, with a 2019 report showing that 48.9% of college students thought that faculty would think differently of them if they knew the students sought mental health support. Nevertheless, a growing body of international evidence shows that prevention, education, and early intervention initiatives show positive returns on improving psychological well-being. We found through user interviews with students that one of the most simple methods is encouraging students to be more open about their inner struggles. By normalizing conversations about mental health with friends and mentors, people become more educated about mental health and feel less alone when dealing with their own issues, which in turn will decrease the amount of mental health inequity. Our app, Speak Up, was created with this purpose in mind.
Once the app is open, an introduction showcasing to users what our thought process was creating this app, bringing our users to an equal understanding of where we're coming from, and providing the option to skip the intro entirely if they don't want to read all of it. Next comes the central core of the app containing the main chat features here. This is where students can share whatever's on their minds in a safe space. If users would like to share something, they can add a post. Here users can put a description of whatever message they want to show that they have on their minds. Filters such as grief, high school, and depression are used to showcase what the post relates to, along with categorizing them so it's easy to find through our search function. Another feature is Make Private, which once checked, enables the post to be posted just to get thoughts out, but not be seen by others if you don't want it to be seen. Once everything is done, add the post and the post is out there for everyone to see. When a post is added, there are many features that make up the post in a social media app, from date and time to comments with emotes to let users express what they want in a friendly way. As well, to promote safety, every user is named anonymous to keep users safe from being targeted by their usernames, along with a default profile picture for everyone. A report function is also added to make sure anyone who isn't being nice can be reported and punished for their crimes. Alongside our central core of the app, we wanted to make this app an area where students could get access to easier help for mental health, so we added a resources page to do that. Under different mental health topics are videos and article links to help users easily and quickly find ways to improve their mental health. While the app is functional, there were always problems that appeared as we were making the app. Because we took too long to figure out an equity topic, it took away precious time that could have been used to implement features that we had to disregard in order for the app to function by the deadline. Another example of a problem was choosing how we were going to provide resources to students using the app. Something we thought of was letting therapist users speak with student users instead of having the resources page. We could not find ways to ensure that therapists would surely talk to students and commit time to help them out. Because of this, the resources page was used to ensure some access to help was guaranteed. Need a safe space to share your thoughts away from the pressure of school? Well then Speak Up is the place to do just that.
Hello everyone. I think we're back. Sorry, I had a little technical difficulties. And I accidentally hit Alt F4 and lost you all for a moment. But anyway, Carly, do you want to kick us off so that I don't have any more technical difficulties?
Sure, I can do that. Thank you for sharing this presentation. I'm very impressed with your story, your journey of how you came to this idea. I love the artwork, by the way, and all the annotations to say who is speaking. That's a very nice touch. You even considered the fact that maybe therapists may not be available to respond. So that's an interesting observation, that you addressed it in a meaningful way. My question for you would be, from what I can tell, it's like social media, except everything is anonymous. Is that true? So what if someone is too shy to even seek help or realize they want to use such an app?
So while we were considering making the app, we also interviewed a lot of students, and a lot of their concerns were also the same. Like, a lot of them were afraid to reach out and talk about their inner struggles. So we have a function where we check a box and it's made private. because sometimes the best thing, even if it's not towards a real person, is to journal for yourself and to just let go of the feelings that you bottled up. So there's a resources function where you can learn on your own through professional articles and scientific articles. And there's also a place where you can make your post private, so you can only see it from yourself.
Very good. Thank you. Are mentors or counselors able to join the chat if they wanted to?
I believe that's something we considered, but like with therapists, like you have like older, like say adults that want to interact with students as well. But I think what we said in the video, we weren't sure how we were going to like we're considering like how if they wanted to, because it wasn't a guarantee that they would help each other out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's why we thought of it, but we didn't implement it into the app.
So the focus is primarily peer-based.
Yeah, because with high school students, you can just, or like high school post-secondary, you can share similar experiences, and thought that they would be able to relate to each other in that way.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you. Are there other questions? I'll pass it.
Maybe I'll go. Yeah, one of the things you talked about was about, creating a safe space and an environment where people can have kind of honest conversations. I'm curious about how would you define a safe space? Like, how would you understand that?
We would define a safe space as somewhere specifically for mental health. It's just a place where you can openly share about what you're feeling, what you're thinking, or things you've experienced without any judgment or fear of being too vulnerable to other people. Because in our lives, we often feel that talking about mental health is hard because it's a very vulnerable thing. So a safe space for mental health would be just somewhere where students can be open about it.
Okay, no, that's a really good kind of definition. So where people do not have to fear judgment, do not have to worry about being too vulnerable, they are allowed to be vulnerable, and they can be open. How does your platform encourage and allow those 4 things to happen?
Under the resources tab, we've also, not only is it how to deal with your own mental wellness, it's also, there's a tab where you can educate yourself on how to support others. So that's a separate resource category. And it shows people how to validate other people's feelings. And there's a quote that we really like. It's someone who drowns in 7 feet of water is just as dead as someone who drowns in 20 feet of water. And it's to show that everyone's struggles are equally valid, and what they're going through it should be recognized and their voices should be heard. And that's what we're trying to encourage users to think as well.
Is your social
Oh, sorry. Oh,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry. No, go ahead.
Oh, and somewhere for the chat function, in the video we said everyone's anonymous. Everyone has the same profile picture, same name, and that's to discourage. In social media, people often interact with accounts or people that they usually interact with, on Instagram. It's people they follow. Yeah, so that's to discourage only people from interacting with certain accounts, and you just create a space for everyone where it's everyone can interact with each other more.
Also, in the chat feature, there are comments and icons. So it's just a very supportive environment. Yeah.
So, no, that's helpful. So one of the biggest problems of social platforms today is social toxicity. So you talk about being anonymous, but I don't think being anonymous actually helps, because if you look at the most toxic place on the internet, 4chan, do not go there. Everyone's anonymous, and it's a cesspool, a corner of the internet. So how would you manage the potential for toxicity on your platform?
We have a report button. So if anyone sees any negative comments or any negative just coming from anonymous people, they can report it easily.
Yeah, and speaking hypothetically, right? So one thing we also said that it's like was having like moderators to like, or like a bot to moderate the post and chat and all that. But that's obviously a very like difficult thing to actually code and develop. But it was one thing we thought about to manage toxicity on that.
Yeah, no. And I would encourage you to continue going down that road and consider like the different avenues and how that can be handled. One of the things that that I think is really important when we look at any sort of platform that we are building or putting together that allows people to interact together. One thing I really appreciate from all of you is that you are assuming a lot of very good faith from other participants. And I think I really value that perspective that you're bringing. But we also have to be responsible for our users in a sense of, like, if someone wants to be a poor faith actor and come in and do the worst possible thing, what would they do and how would you prevent that? Right. So I don't think we can necessarily always assume the best intentions from others. And so the platform needs to make the right decisions embedded within the choices that's available to people that encourages or requires them to act in good faith and take away those things that will prevent them from doing so. So I think there's something to consider and something to continue like kind of pressing into. And all the things that you mentioned are good solutions. But people are just going to come up with even worse ways, right? We only need to look at Facebook and Twitter and all the different platforms and challenges there. So I think that's something to really consider. But like, I really love like the perspective you're taking here and how you're trying to approach this like really difficult problem.
Of course, thank you.
Yeah, your current app is text-based. Is it because you don't have time to do, video and text, or is there some rationale behind keeping it text-based?
I think it's just more text-based because I think we really thought that like it's just a way to explain or for people to explain like what they want to feel. I don't think they don't really film themselves because sometimes people are like shy of being like taken on video and they don't want to like say, they don't want to like share themselves that way because then they might like show like themselves their actual face. So it's just like for safety reasons and things like that.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, it was something we talked about in our meetings. And yeah, so as part of that was like it was harder to design and code. And also I feel like having like video or photos available, it was also sort of like create that place like where you're more motivated to interact with posts that have photos or videos more. Where on social media, it's always posts that have photos or like some sort of image that garners more impressions or like interaction with it.
Very good. Excellent. Thank you.
Sure. I'll ask you a more product-related question, and that is, what data did you obtain that, whether it's qualitative or quantitative, that tells you that a safe space is what people need? Because obviously there's many alternatives of safe space today with counselor, therapists, and things like that. What are some of the data that you have obtained that tells you in your research that tells you
that? Do you need like specific numbers or just like we can just like relay what we got?
Some of the insights of your research.
Through our user interviews, a lot of people just said that they needed a safe place, a comfortable place where they can just freely express what they're going through without any judgment or without any burdens. And a lot of them also said that they were uncomfortable to talk to people in their lives about really personal issues. And so we thought this app being anonymous would be a safe place for them to just say anything that's on their mind.
Yeah, and in one survey for college students, only 15% of students engaged in college offered counseling in the past year, and the survey said some reasons why was just that the counselors, it's not very like empathetic, because it's obviously hard for a stranger or like someone older than you to relate to your experiences or problems you're having. And it's also of the like uncomfortable factor, because it's therapy is often one-on-one, so that adds to it too, of why students don't want to go to counseling.
Okay, I'll hand it back to Janice. Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Justin. So, as we talked about in the showcase, mental health is quite a sensitive topic, and I think you guys handled it pretty well. And to the audience, please don't forget to vote for Alt F4 to show them your support. And all right, Liel, we have one more team left. Who might that be?
Thanks, Janice. Thanks, Janice. Last but not least, we have Team Pneumo. Get ready while I try to figure out how to say your long name. So on Team Pneumo, we have Sonia, Licia, Zane, Lena, Ryan, and Yunso. They're mentored by yours truly, and along with Kitty and Joanne. Team Pneumo has created an app that aims to help immigrants integrate into a new country through giving them information and giving them a sense of community.
Immigration is not an easy task. From learning a new language, to getting housing advice, to finding the best restaurants in your area. There are so many different things to learn, and it's inevitable for new immigrants to feel completely lost. If this sounds familiar to you, look no further.
For our problem statement, we wanted to help those who wanted to get integrated into a new country that they just moved to. When they were getting set up in this new country, they can get better integrated and adjusted to a new place. Since currently they don't know anyone and have some language barriers when communicating with the locals. Therefore, they need the help, but they don't want to stand out in the crowd in a bad way.
Hi! Welcome to ME. Let's get started. First, you could choose the area of the knowledge that you would like to learn or know about. Next, it will be led to the homepage, which features a dashboard customized on your own preferences. On the bottom navigation bar, you can see the education, discussion, and profile page icons. The education page features the resources for learning languages and also gaining citizenship knowledge on this country. The discussion page features 3 tabs: discussion, reviews, and events. Discussion is for inquiries or past experiences of immigrants and new immigrants to share. Reviews is on different facilities or locations to further improve opportunities to explore. And events features cultural festivals that you could attend to improve and learn in the social setting. Now in the profile, you could change your language preferences, your knowledge preferences, as well as view your saved items. Let's say that there is an immigrant from Japan who is a student and want to feel more accustomed to this country. They go through a typical welcome process, and then they want to improve their fluency in the language, so they go to the education or resources page. They may choose to take the tests and use the resources, and within their own time management. Next, they may browse through the discussion page and find that other people have faced the same problems and as well maybe the loneliness that they feel or the culture shock. And they will be able to look through various experiences, learn from them, and also take notes and have some tips for how to get more accustomed through this app. They will get more fluent in language, as well as find more opportunities to improve their lifestyle and feel more confident in their ability to live comfortably in this new country. When conducting our user interviews, some of the most prevalent problems were culture shock, difference in values, language, and not knowing where to start or look for opportunities. In response, the app is designed to accommodate those issues, as well as to create a comfortable medium for the transition into this new society. The name ME has also been chosen to reflect this intent of our app.
Unfortunately, due to our lack of time management, we were unable to implement all the features we wanted. We definitely could have done much better had we had more time. Some of the key highlights of our app are our recycler views. This was a feat for many of our members who had to learn how to use it and get used to using it. On the other hand, we faced many issues. This was mainly due to the software programs. For instance, we sometimes lost some of our code because Source3 was not committing the code properly. Also, one of our members' laptops was unable to use an emulator, so they were unable to detect any errors in the code. Therefore, only at the end, when merging, were we able to fix out all these issues. If we were to do this project again, we would definitely manage our time more wisely. For instance, we should have completed the design much sooner, as we had created various templates, as can be seen here. As a result, we did not leave enough time for the coding. In addition, our team could have worked much better together because a lot of our work was done last minute due to the lack of communication with each other. In addition, some features we will want to implement in the future are multilingual supports. Therefore, new immigrants who do not necessarily speak English well are able to still use the app with ease.
Thanks, team. Pneumono ultramicroscopic silical volcanoconiosis. Okay, I think I shaved off 7 years off my lifespan trying to learn how to say that. Anyway, let's see what Stanley has to say about Team Pneumo Noms. Don't worry, Stanley. I won't ask you to say their full name.
I'm not even going to try. Great stuff. Thanks for sharing that clip with us. I wonder if you could expand upon for me, maybe a little bit more detail. How does your solution address the problem? I feel like you touched on it. I saw some connection points, but I don't think I fully understood. How does the application actually drive solutions to the problem space that you identified?
So I guess our problem is just like not being to integrate in a new country, or just not knowing where to start, as well as like just maybe not having enough social connections. So we try to put all of that into an app. So we have many functions. So there's one that's like focused on education, and then we have a page focused on perhaps just getting to know like the places around you, some community centers where you can find more opportunities, and as well as a discussion section where you could look at other people's past experiences or reviews in which you could derive some tips and tricks, or as well as to kind of just, I guess, also like feel less lonely, because I guess there is that part where you're a new immigrant and you just kind of don't know anyone, as well as not really knowing how the country works, and perhaps not really being familiar with people in this country. So maybe perhaps through an online platform or where people have faced similar issues could help out, and kind of as well as just, I guess, learn more about this, how to kind of just, I guess, get used to your daily life here with just having people who have faced similar issues and also know like what they could probably help you. So yeah. Did that answer your question?
No,
Was
that's
that too
that's very
long?
No, that's very good. That was that would really help me, I think, draw the dots in terms of what you're trying to do here. So no, thank you. So to stretch into that, so it sounds like you are hitting a lot of different places, right? Like you talked about education, places around you, having discussions, tips and tricks, that sort of information and stuff like that. So, I mean, from the thinking you've done and the work you've done in this space, and I'm sure you've spent a lot of time thinking about, okay, immigrant experiences, how to get them settled in and all those kind of things. From your, as a team, like from your perspective, from all the work that you've done, from all the thinking you've done, what is most influential for someone's experience and helping them get to a better place, whatever that might be, the way you might define it? What's most influential for a positive outcome in your mind?
I guess there's a internal aspect in which like their own choices, decisions, and motivation and their goals. But there's also the external where like depending on like the people they interact with or like the amount of knowledge they have access to or the amount of information they have access to, that could really influence like their outcome or like how like the probability of like reaching like their desired outcome, I guess. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Is there a particular one that's most influential?
I guess I can only speak from like a more personal perspective, or maybe
no, that's great.
If that's okay.
No, that's
if
perfect.
If it were me, I guess for me, what would be more influential would probably be social connections. Because I mean, humans are kind of social. We live in societies for a reason, and I feel like social connections probably have more influence. Although I am probably like a teenager, so it probably has more influence on me than perhaps adults. But yeah, I guess social influences for me and like what I learned from the people around me, what the information I could extract, or like the actions they do, what I could like follow, how people may mentor me perhaps would probably be the most influential. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to pause it here. And like, I this is your individual experience that you found the most helpful. And I'm sure other members of your team might have a different perspective and different individual experiences that was helpful for them. I'm curious about, if you were to think about the next version of your application as you're building this forward, and from your experience and perspective that the social connections is what's most influential for positive outcomes, how would you build towards helping people have stronger, more resilient, more diverse social connections?
I can answer this question. Can you hear my microphone? Okay.
Yes, so, I can hear you.
Okay, so like we have a discussion part in our app.
Mm-hmm.
So in that, like, so our target audience for this app was either immigrants or people who previously already immigrated and are like in like the greater Vancouver area and have knowledge about like the culture and community and the setting around here. So like with those two types of people, they can each so the people who already know this community, they can help those who are just immigrating like understand the community and the culture and how exactly like for example, if they want to find a job, how they would do that and where they would go. So because in the discussion section, they can put up forums and ask questions and post certain things, and then people can respond and they'll get an answer that they're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. No, thank you. That's very helpful. Justin, Kali?
Yeah, I just want to know, before your product is out there, before your solution exists, how does the user currently go about solving their problems?
I can take this one. So this is actually the reason we wanted to do something like this, and that would be because without this, the user would have to go to different websites or different community centers, and there's a lot of different places they have to go to get different information. But what our app does is it will help put all that information into one spot and make it easier for the user to access.
Right. Okay. And in that, when you're deliberating of this, like all the you're looking at what they're looking in terms of like different websites, and then deciding on the categories and whatnot. Were there any trade-offs that you have to make? And can you walk us, give us some insights as to what are some of these trade-offs?
Trade-offs just in general, like within the designing aspect?
The design and the product of it. Some of the decisions, like product decisions or design decisions.
Yeah. Okay. So initially, when you open the app, we have a personalization page. So like we first have a welcome page, and then we have a personalization. Initially, we wanted to have like even more personalization, not just having the bubbles, but rather having the user like through like a adventure sort of thing, where they're like being walked through like question by question, like, hey, where are you from? What country did you immigrate to? Like, what languages do you speak? To make it more personalized. But right now we do have the personalization bubbles, which is what we came to end up with for our final result, because we decided that having that many questions would take up so many panels, and it would take so much time for the user, and it's just not worth it, because in the end what we have right now, it's the same idea, but it's just all in one page, so then they can just select those rather than going separately through each one.
Okay. Carly, anybody else want to add anything?
Yeah, thank you. I really, by the way, appreciate how you shared about your journey, especially your the lessons you've learned in terms of time management and communication and all that. And those are ongoing life skills. But I want to go back to the new immigrant definition. How would you define new? And are there timelines when you were doing your research, for example, 0 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 1 to 2 years, and so on? And were there differences in terms of needs?
So actually, in the beginning, we wanted to have two different ways that a user could go about it, and that would be if you just recently moved and immigrated, or if you have been in that country for a long time already, but at one point you did immigrate. And if it was the second option, then you would have the option to basically help anyone that's newer to the country. We still do have that, but we made it a little bit less distinct. So the target audience is really for anyone, to either if you're a new immigrant that has just moved here or doesn't feel like they belong in their community yet, this would help them. And if you're maybe have been in the community for a little longer, you can come and help those newer people get adjusted.
Mm-hmm.
That answered your question?
Okay. Does this just a quick one, does this application also apply to visitors or international students, like short-term residents? Or are you more focused on immigrants?
I think short-term residents will also find the resources helpful, because even though there are more perhaps long-term aspects for just general information, but there are we have events and information and education, because language or learning language could also be pretty short term, or just general knowledge about the country. I guess for immigrants it could act as a medium for long term knowledge and education and getting used to, but for the short term it would also function just as well, perhaps. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answers.
Great discussion, Stan, Justin, Carly, and team. So that's all of our presentations for today. Good job, everyone. For our audiences and people viewing at home, please don't forget that voting for People's Choice Awards ends immediately after the break. So you have 5 minutes left to vote. As of right now, the difference between the top two teams is just 4 votes. So get voting if you want your favorite team to win. Your vote will account for 10% of the team's total evaluation. So it could really be just what they need to push them over the top. We'll announce the winner shortly after the break, so stay put. For now, we're going to take a quick look at our past students and what they're doing.
There's 2 parts. First of all, it's just like learning how to program, like the Java experience, and just learning any language in general. It just always helps. So when you learn one language, then it translates to any other language. And then secondly, with Game of Apps is what we're building is, I guess, quite complex. Like these apps have like multiple parts going around, and they're not easy projects to build. And you have a full team, and that's one of the things you probably don't do on your own. Like work with a team and then collaborate on a project. And it also puts you in the mindset to like write good code that other people can use. I think you just come to appreciate like the programming mindset, like what you need to do to write code that works and how to like get the job done. That's one of the biggest parts, because in lots of times in these courses, like you will run into problems you can't really solve. But then if you've had that experience, you build up that mindset, then you know that you can find the solution.
We had this prof who's like, anything you can think of that's been on TV, try and make it. So for an idea of what I ended up doing, he's like, you're going to make it.
That was very stuttery. We are having technical difficulties, but Janice?
Okay, so let's just continue. But once again, if you guys want to see what some of our past alumni are doing, the video is already available on YouTube. And it's just always great to see what they're doing after Game of Apps. It's like we've told them, or like we've taught them how to like leverage those concepts, and then now they're just taking it along with us.
Yeah, it's so impressive just seeing where they are. So can't wait to see what they all do next, and can't wait to see where they go from here.
Yeah, all right. We're going to take another break now, but don't forget to come back immediately because we have a lot of fun stuff in store for you, and the fun stuff will happen immediately at the end of the 5-minute mark. See you in a bit.
Game of Apps presents a new nature series, The Secret Life of the GOA Mentors. Spanning across the continent, the mentors can be found everywhere, though they're most commonly found on the West Coast. There are two types of mentors, designers and programmers. They gather every week to nurture the next group of aspiring students. Observe this rare footage of mentors teaching in action. While the mentors are mostly seen with students, what we recently discovered is that the mentors do come together outside of these sessions to conspire new and devious plots. In fact, we uncovered a cohort of mentors who are secretly ninjas. As you can see here, the mentors are practicing their run so that they can have a flawless escape during their missions. Ow! Though some need a little bit more practice. We captured the rare Roland using his impersonation skills to be Janice. It's almost as if she's here in the room.
I can't be in person with you, but the beauty of right now is that we can all be here virtually together. So it's been 5 years since we started Game of Apps. Well, as they say, time flies when you're having fun.
To unleash the stress of wrangling rascally students, the mentors engage in strange competitions involving throwing burritos at each other. And when night falls, some of them spend their time trolling the internet and memeing in video games.
It's not that. Jump on me, and jump on Justin. Yeah. That's the way. Alright, grab it. Okay. We need more vision on the right.
Yeah, we did fine.
There are so much more to learn about the GOA mentors, so stay tuned for the next episode of GOA Earth. Disclaimer for this episode: no mentors, cats, or sharks, burritos,
trees, water, icebergs, rocks, or students were harmed in the making of this documentary. Please do not sue us.
Fun stuff indeed. That burrito game, by the way, is very competitive. Anyway, now that all of the teams are done, we have a couple of the mini game and giveaway announcements.
So to start, we're going to dive right into it. So one of our game was that we hit a bunch of imposters throughout the show today, and we've asked all you audience to count how many you guys saw. And the winner who spotted all the imposter is, drumroll, Sonia. So if for those who didn't know, I don't know if you can see on my scene, but I have one on my left here. I have like two on each end. And then Leah is showing where hers are. So that's where they were. Congratulations, Sonia. The total number was 8 imposters, hiding all throughout the pitch presentation. So great job spotting them all.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that you saw the super hidden white one. Moving on to the other mini game, the guess the number of mentors, and that winning person is. The winning person is Kevin. Woo! Yeah, so Kevin guessed the correct amount of mentors that we've had over the 5 years, and that is 57 mentors. Can you believe that? Even I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's definitely a wild guess. But we have our third game that we played in the show, and that is the Spot the Difference, where one of the mentors during the walk segment was wearing the wrong shirt. And that mentor was Ronald, and the person who guessed correctly is... Drumroll, Jose! Great job. Thanks.
Thanks for playing with us, everyone.
Wait, actually, one more thing.
What? Okay.
yeah, so I don't know if you have it with you, but during the showcase, we introduced that the poop emoji is up for adoption, and our lucky winner is the Great Dania. So I'm not sure if you're one of our students watching today or in the audience watching today, but if you not a student, then and if you're watching here right now, please DM us on Instagram, and we will contact you how to get. Leah called it Poopsie. So how we'll contact you how to get Poopsie to you. So, and for everyone, all the students who play along with us today, to claim your prize, I think you guys should know now, but by now that you can access the prizes through our Game of Apps app. And the moment you download it, it should be the first button, prizes, and you can claim anything under the line of weekly prizes, I think it's called, and stickers.
Yep, if not, we'll
And
also just
so-
contact you for instructions on how to claim your prize.
Okay. Cool, perfect. So hopefully everyone got the memo. If you're Zane, Sonia, the Great Dania, and Kevin Mao, please claim your prizes. And if you have any questions, please reach out to us and we'll get the prizes to you. With that, thank you everyone for participating in our little fun game while you guys are stressing over trying to get a presentation and answering all those tough questions. So now let's get rolling to see how the judging is going on.
Okay, thank you, Janice. Thank you, Leah. So let's bring the judges back now. Are they back in? Are they finished deliberating? Can we have them back on screen?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Great. So judges, Carly, Stanley, Justin, how did it go? Was it an easy decision or was it tough? You don't have to tell us the winner yet, but we just kind of know how it went.
Well, I think it's quite difficult. Topic is really big, right? So it's really difficult problem for them to solve. So yeah, I think that's quite difficult judging, like assessment process and deliberation process. Carly and Stan, what do you guys think?
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy task to judge. We're very impressed with how you've attempted to tackle some really hard questions. For in general, definitely great effort from everyone. We're very impressed for your age to be able to be thinking about these problems.
For sure, yes.
And and it's a plus one to all of that as well. That this is some genuinely, strongly, and deeply ambiguous problems that society is wrestling with. That honestly, I'll say no one has really found good solutions to these things. And I think the deliberation that all of you had working through these problems, applying the different skill sets, thinking through it deeply, talking to different people has put you ahead of, I think, a lot of people in the world and how we think about some of these things and how we're going to find solutions on the other side. So I think, wherever the scores end up and wherever all these things end up, I think I would safely say that all of you can be so proud of walking away with like a much deeper understanding of these issues, how challenging, like a first person appreciation for how challenging it is. And hopefully you will come up with a solution to some of these really deep pains that I think we're all experiencing in society.
And there's
today.
so many dimensions to this problem and the solutions as well. So we're really impressed that most of these seem to have come from your own personal experiences, whether your parents, your grandparents, or friends. So that's great. I hope we can continue to have those eyes to observe around us. And to understand these people around us.
So so judges, what was one thing that kind of might have caught you by surprise today through these students' presentations? Was there anything that kind of say, hey, I didn't expect this?
I can go first. I think for me is that some of these projects are very close to go to market. I know this is not something that we assess on. Like there's no like business aspect of it, but if they were to kind of put in a little bit more time, they could actually launch this and be something really useful. And I think that's one of the main thing.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, for sure, Justin. How about the others? Anything that might have caught you by surprise that you didn't expect to see or hear today?
I would just agree with what Justin was mentioning as well. Yeah, some projects would be like, it's either like, oh, this is good to go. You just need to address this or that, a little bit more thought here, a little bit more investment there, a little bit of gotchas you got to think about, which is incredible. I think for what honestly is a really short amount of time. And I assume for a lot of people in the room, it's your first time, working with UI, working with, Java, working with, whatever platforms you're working with. This is really cool.
No, I personally was very pleasantly surprised by what you guys said, right? How the students were able to tackle something so ambiguous. All the problems that they were dealing with today are difficult even for adults to tackle, right? So for someone in high school to take the design principles, design thinking principles that we've given them and to address some of these things is huge. And I was talking to Justin, some of the other mentors. We think maybe this year we kind of went a little bit overboard on the too difficult side. so we might readjust for the following year. But students, kudos to you. You rose up to the occasion and listening to your pitch presentations and the way you answered the questions today, really got maybe you really put a lot of thought into it. And like what Carly said, these are personal experiences that you're drawing from. And what Stanley said, there are these problems that we're talking about, no one has a good solution yet today, right? So for you guys to even look at that and try to tackle it is tremendous.
So, I'll say this though, when you say no one has a good solution, and I think it's recently Jeff Bezos tweeted this, that I'm not promoting my own company, but he tweeted that AWS used to be a ridiculous idea that people think it never works too, and today it's pretty successful. It's working very well, providing a lot of value, and you just never know, right? A lot of things that may seem very trivial today, but actually will turn out to be very valuable and useful if they just put a little bit more time on it and get it going.
Yeah, awesome. So each of the judges, any last words of advice as the evaluations have all been locked in, but any last words of advice to the students as they look to the to the awarding and also beyond after Game of Apps? We'll start with Carly.
Oh, okay. Actually, my advice would be what I started off to say, learn from yesterday, to live for today, and to hope for tomorrow, and to not stop asking questions.
Awesome.
I think that captures it.
Okay, thank you. How about Stanley? Any words of advice for the students?
I think in the same vein, just keep at it. These are tough, meaningful problems to solve. I think you've picked up everything we've seen today demonstrates that you picked up the skills to be the people, hopefully in the future, who can contribute some real solutions to some real problems we have in the world. And I'm really excited to see what all of you are going to do in the future. But it's going to be a tough road for you, for us, for all of us. Keep at it.
Awesome. Thank you. And last word from Justin.
Yeah, I mean, Roland say that you guys rise up to the occasion, but I like to think that people don't really rise up to occasion. I mentioned this before. You rise up to the level of your training, right? So if you take what Carly says and Stanley says, keep being curious, keep building up on that foundation and knowledge, I think you will find yourself rising up to a lot more occasions than in the future as you meet more and more difficult challenges down the road.
Awesome. So Carly and Stanley, we have a little something for you. You see all of us are wearing matching t-shirts. You get a similar one, but in white. Okay. So if you think of Justin as the black hat, you guys are the white hat.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. We hope to have you back again with us. So I really appreciate the time that you took today. And we look forward to seeing the results in a little bit. Okay. Thank you, judges.
Okay, thank you, Roland, and thank you, judges. Those were definitely some wise words of wisdom from our esteemed judges. And now we'll also like to thank you, the mentors, for putting on an amazing production for the showcase and the championships, and apologies for any of the hiccups. But teamwork really makes the dream work, eh?
It really does.
All right. I know that everyone here is anxiously waiting to find out the results because I am curious too. But the crew is still busy tallying up all the scores. So we have a few different awards that we'd like to present today. The first set of awards is called the Mentor Spot Awards. And these awards are very personal because the mentors were tasked to identify an individual who really stood out to them in some way or capacity. And the mentors then personally purchased a small gift as an award to recognize the selected individuals. So students, if you hear your name for an award, please turn on your camera and audio so you can be recognized and we can have a chat with you. And hopefully you guys didn't run away already, but make sure you all jump back onto the Zoom because we need to see you guys. And I think we're ready for the first award. So let's jump right on ahead. The first Mentor Spot Award is the Get Stuff Done Award to be presented by Leah.
Yay! Thanks, Janice. So working in a team is already hard enough. And when you mix in working remotely and also like working with other students who you've never met before, especially from other schools, that definitely changes the game from normal mode to hard mode. This award goes to someone who pulled their team together to get stuff done, whether that's in design and development. They've actively sought out office hours with the mentors outside of our like regularly scheduled Tuesday calls and worked with their team to put the project together. And that is Sonia. Woo! She's coming on soon, I hope. Yeah, so Sonia is from Team Pneumo. Already forgot how to say the full name. It was really hard. But that team definitely worked really, really hard. And Sonia, you were at the forefront of just like pulling the teams together when it came to meeting with us and also like ideating on the designs and the problem space itself. So yeah, do you have anything to say or to add? I think you're frozen. And there's now multiple of me. Oh god. Oh, okay, I think we got Sonia.
Yeah, sorry, my Wi-Fi just lagged out.
No worries. Yeah, Sonia, do you have anything to say for our audience here?
Well, I don't know how the award works, but thanks for whoever gave me this award. I really appreciate it. But I guess our group worked really hard on this project in order to put it all together. And I don't think it was just me. I think like other people in our group as well, such as Zane and Alicia, they helped out like our team so much in order to do this together. For example, Zane is like this amazing coder, and it wouldn't have been possible to create our app had it not been for his amazing coding skills. And Alicia helped me out so much with the design, and she's my best friend. So yeah.
Thank you, Sonia. Kitty, Joanne, and I really appreciate your efforts and the efforts that you, Licia, and Zane have put into this project. We want to give you this book. It's well designed by John Kolko. And yeah, we'll be sending you this somehow. I don't know how. Well, some magic. Anyway, the next Mentor Spot Award is the One Step Ahead Award presented by Kitty.
Thanks, Leah. So for the past 12 weeks, it's my honor to be able to closely work with all the members on this team and get to know them a little bit better. One of the attributes that stood out to us is the hustling effort within the group. I'm happy to present the One Step Award, actually One Step Ahead Award, to this individual for they are demonstrating a strong entrepreneurial attitudes from ideating abundance of ideas to tackling this year's equity theme to actively creating opportunities to help the team to solicit votes for the People's Choice Award amongst her friends and schoolmates, and also organize a draw for those who voted. I think it might be working. So I'm announcing today to present this award to Licia from Team Pneumo. Congrats. Hey, Licia, congrats. You have a few words to say to the audience?
Thanks. I didn't know this was an award.
Surprise.
Not really. Yeah, thank you. And not as good at talking as Sonia, unfortunately. So I guess I have to thank everyone who really helped me. And I guess it's like if my team or like members of our team weren't that motivated with this, I wouldn't be that motivated either to try to like collect a lot of votes and try to like, so I guess it's like mutual support. And I guess my part was just getting the vibe, getting people hyped to do this. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lucia, and congrats again. So the next Mentor Spot Award is the Bob the Builder Award to be presented by Joanne.
Yeah, so I'd like to present the Bob the Builder Award to someone with the can-do attitude towards the dev challenges and the projects he's worked on this season. He's always attempting and is always one of the first people to submit a solution for the dev challenges. And just in general, he's good at finding different ways of solving a problem. And he's able to quickly figure out and use features of Android beyond those that we've taught in the dev stream during the first semester. This wasn't just for his own tasks, but also when he's helping his teammates with their own tasks as well. And honestly, props to him and his team for pulling through even in those last few stressful hours before the deadline. Props for pushing through. And so anyway, the Bob the Builder Award goes to Zane from Team Pneumo. Yay. Congrats, Zane the Builder. Hey,
thanks. Oh,
yeah.
Thanks,
Anything
Joanne.
you want to say to the audience?
Yeah, I guess even though I got this award, I think our team did a really, really good job working together and utilizing everyone's individual skills. So yeah, I guess in a way we all got this award, not just me. So
Yeah, I think Kitty, Leah, and I both saw that in you and the team. So congrats. I don't have the award with me now, but here's a picture of it. It's a 3D puzzle for you. Don't worry, there's no deadline involved with this one. So you can solve it. It's a chill thing for you. All right, the next award, back to you, Janice, to present.
Yes, thank you, Joanne. So the next Mentor Spot Award is the What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger Award to be presented by Wilbur.
Hi. So I'm going to present the What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger Award. So this award will go towards someone who, against all odds, continue pushing through. And even when, Game of Apps is a very, very tough program. And to continue pushing through when things are really tough. And so for this specific individual, this is their first time doing Game of Apps. And also to my knowledge, is also their first time programming as well. And during all these times, they would get stuck on projects, but they didn't give up. They will continue reaching out to mentors for help. And not only that, but their computer is also extremely slow. I've been told that when they're working with a mentor, trying to just run the Android emulator takes forever to load. And even against all that, they continue working through that. And I'd like to present this award to Kelly. Yeah, so it's amazing watching you push through all that. And I really think you deserve this award.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all the incredible mentors who have helped me so much. And thank you to my amazing team. It's been such a great experience working with everyone, and I've learned so much. Thank you.
All right, back to Janice.
Thank you. And the next Mentor Spot Award is the I'm Not Afraid of Justin Award to be presented by Adrian. And Adrian is actually working hard in the backstage, helping run the show with our entire production team. So we've set up a camera backstage to film Adrian for his presentation. And as a bonus, you'll get to see what the production team is like in action.
So welcome backstage. I'm here to present the I'm Not Afraid of Justin Award. So the purpose of this award was to recognize students who have been around for several seasons. So we figure if they've been around for that long, they've learned to, they're no longer afraid of Justin's sort of like intimidating presence, or at least they can deal with it. So we're awarding this to 2 students. So that's to Oscar and Jason on Team CompSci Rejects. So first, we'll talk about Oscar. So Oscar has been around for 3 seasons, and he's a developer. So we've seen him progress in his development skills and his confidence in being able to build new things, and the ability to look at new technologies and be able to build new things, and especially things that challenges himself. So do we have Oscar on the screen? Oscar, do you have anything to say?
Honestly, this is a surprise. I was not expecting this at all. Thank you so much, I guess. We're definitely still afraid of Justin. It's
okay. You just managed to deal with it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. It was mainly Sophie. Sophie gave us a lot of confidence.
Okay. So for you, I'll just show you. We have a prize for you. So it's a book by Kevin Mitnick. It's an autobiography. So he was a hacker who ended up going to jail and then turned up white hat hacker. So he has a security company, and very interesting stories about his life of crime and then moving on beyond that. So it should be an interesting read to be able to, see that there are different parts of development that include like things like security and not just code. Okay, so the next one we'll move on to is Jason. So Jason, much like Oscar, we've seen his skills progress in terms of development and also seen sort of leadership in terms of when we've been mentoring the team, being able to bring up questions and discuss the code and really take ownership over the new projects. So congratulations, Jason. Do you have anything to say?
Not really.
Okay.
I think it was
that's fine.
A lot of it, I agree with Oscar, a lot of our teamwork came from Sophie. She really pulled us together when we were like busy with our own stuff. We had like no time to do a game of apps. She really pulled us together, made us organized, and helped us complete our app.
Okay. Yeah. So for you, I'll just show you what we have as your prize. So it's a book called I Was, and it's another autobiography. But this is Steve Wozniak. He was a co-founder of Apple. So he was on the sort of technical side of Apple computers, did a lot of design on the Apple I and Apple II. So it was pretty influential in terms of desktop computing. So that's what we have for you. So congratulations to you, Oscar and Jason. So back to you, Janice.
Okay, thank you, Adrian. And I'm just going to be coming and keep coming with the goodness, because we have another award, and the next Mentor Spot Award will be presented by Kevin and Ronald. Are you guys ready?
Hello, everyone. So the next award will be going to someone who has persevered incredibly hard to create an app that helps disadvantaged people get better access to medical care, which is an issue that has been really near and dear to her heart. Now, she has also put in we want to recognize the massive amount of work that she has put in and the determination to pull through and effectively carry the team carry teams past the finish line. Now, what is this award, you say? Well, I just want to tell you what I'm feeling. I've got the line already. Gonna make you understand. The winner of the Never Gonna Give You Up award goes to Elaine. And this award will be presented by myself and Ronald.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you very much. I was not expecting to get rickrolled today, but
Well, Elaine, we just really wanted to recognize the amount of effort you put in. Like Kevin said, you really faced a lot of challenges that were beyond the control of yourself. But you know, it would have been so much easier for you to throw in the towel and, just call it quits, but you didn't. You took on a lot of initiative. You stepped out of your comfort zone. Hope you gained a lot of valuable experience working on the ideation and design process. But what matters most is that you didn't give up in the face of the challenge. So you pushed through, you made it past the finish line, and that's something we, Kevin, myself, and Vivian really wanted to really spotlight and give you this award for all that you've done through the season. And Kevin has the book now. And this book is Creativity Inc. It's written by is he the founder, or he's someone top level at Pixar? So we hope this book would be interesting to you and very valuable for your learning in the future.
thank you.
Do you have anything you want to say? You don't have to, but
Not
yeah.
really.
Okay. Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Congrats.
So back to you, Janice.
Okay, thank you, Ron, and congrats to Elaine. I also want to say good job to push through. I know I've seen some of you are sometimes working, and I know you can do it. So good job. And so the last Mentor Spot Award we have now is the I Love to Type Award presented by Jeff.
Thanks, Janice. So this award is the I Love to Type Award. This is for someone who's always kind of energetic and likes participating in all our sessions. The student's been with us for 2 seasons, but the first season we couldn't even see them. And this season, however, we can't hear them. So I think we all know who this is, Aki. Aki, we're gonna get you a mic. Yeah, we'll figure out what kind of mic to get for you. Wait, is Aki there?
Aki, are you on Zoom?
All right. Hey, Aki. Can you say anything? I guess not, because you don't have a mic. Oh, you're gonna make it fun. All right. Okay. Hopefully, we'll hear you next season. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Yeah, with your new mic. Yeah, back to Lee and Janice.
Yeah, Aki, I really hope that that mic will help you next season. Anyway, thank you, mentors, for presenting the Spot Awards and recognizing a number of deserving students. In these past 5 years, so many students have made an impact on us, and we have so many fond memories with all of you. We want to stay in touch with all of you, especially for those who are graduating grade 12 this year, as you know, we won't see you again next year, which is so sad. But we do have a Game of Apps alumni Discord, which we'll talk about a bit later in the show. But please stay in touch with us.
Yes, we really want you all to stay in touch with us. And it's always fun to see what you guys are doing on the Discord channel. So I think the judges have finished deliberating, and but we have a few more items in store before we announce this year's provincial champion. So let me pass the mic back to Roland.
Okay, right. Thanks, Janice and Leah. So next up, we will be awarding the Outstanding Individual Awards. So these awards are given to students who exhibited exceptional skills in design, development, and leadership. So 3 outstanding awards, and were selected by the mentors this week. Many of these students excelled in these 3 categories, and it was a tough decision for your mentors. So first, we have the Outstanding Designer Award. So this individual will get a personalized trophy like this with your name engraved here on the bottom, as well as these 3 design books. So they're still all sealed. You can see them here. One is titled Muji, Star Wars, and Kyoto. So the books are sealed, so I haven't seen the inside, but the outside looks really nice. Like the cover is very striking. So very stunning. So let me invite Tony to present the Outstanding Designer Award.
Thanks, Roland. As a designer myself, there is a secret sauce to this. It's not just making things look really pretty and everything. It's more about having a combination of skill sets, whether it be personality or being able to have time management. This person handles stress very well. Time management seems to be a thing that they've learned well over this last season. They take pride in ownership of their work. They take feedback and direction very well. This person has an extreme amount of integrity. And it was not just me that is saying this. This is coming from all the mentors that have dealt with this person in the past. I'm lucky to have this person be in my project teams in the last year. This person is Travis.
Oh. Hello.
Travis, good job on this. You seem to have the right secret sauce when it came to design. Everyone was really impressed with your skills this year.
Thank you.
Yeah, and again, amazing illustrations. I think everyone seems to be extremely impressed with your work this year. I'm looking forward to seeing you develop in your career as a designer in the next little bit.
Okay, thank you very much.
Great. Congratulations, Travis. So next we have the Outstanding Developer Award. This individual will also receive a personal trophy with your name engraved on it. And we will be sending you this book called Cracking the Coding Interview. I don't know if you could see that. So while you will not be getting a full-time job yet until you finish university, the exercises, hints, and tips in this book will help you hone your coding skills. So let me now invite Richard to present the Outstanding Developer Award.
Thank you, Roland. The winner of this year's Outstanding Developer Award has demonstrated exceptional programming skills throughout the season of Game Apps. They play a critical role in the development of both the first and the final project in their team. And most importantly, they also help out their teams when their teammates are stuck. Being an outstanding developer is not just about being an excellent developer themselves. It's also about mentorship and leadership. And it's also worth mentioning that they also participated in every single one of the weekly coding challenges and solved all the problems with elegant solutions. The dev mentors were all very impressed. I believe Arthur is fitting for this recognition. Congratulations to Arthur for winning the award.
Hello.
Give us a few words.
Right. I have an Android Studio addiction. It's not even funny. When I'm looking at that gray screen, I stop eating, I stop drinking, I don't sleep. It's when May 13th came and I realized I wouldn't be able to make any more commits to the repo, my hands started shaking. In all seriousness though, thank you so much to all the mentors. They've been so helpful through both this year and last year. I've been in the game of apps. And I've been really grateful to learn so much from them, and they really helped guide my direction for my future. Right.
Thank you, Arthur.
All right, awesome. Congratulations, Arthur. Well deserved. So the last individual award is the Outstanding Leadership Award. So again, this individual will receive a personal trophy and also a copy of this book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I don't know if you could see that. It's a bit bright. How to Win Friends and Influence People. There you go. By Dale Carnegie. Okay. One mark of a good leader is their ability to inspire those around them and work towards a common goal. So to present the Outstanding Leadership Award, I would like to invite Justin.
Thank you, Roland. You know, there are some games in life that you simply don't get to play until you fully commit, unless you fully commit, right? And one such game in life is leadership. You don't get to play until you're all in, unless you're all in. What's interesting about leadership is that it's only a temporary mandate of stewardship actually given to you by the team that chose you to lead them. So if you think you're going to quit, then you're not leading. If you think you can defer decisions and not when everybody's relying on you, then you're not leading, right? If you think you're not leading by example, you're not leading, right? And you're gonna be on this boat ride until the end, because the rule is that you don't get to leave when you lead. And the only thing you can do is to play the best game of your life while you're on that ride, while trying to find some meaning in all these responsibilities entrusted to you. Sophie is somebody who embodies all these qualities of great leadership. Almost on a weekly basis, she finds time to sit down with the mentors in our office hours that literally spans hours. I'm talking about an easy 3 to 4 hours on top of the time spent on the lectures and prep projects. And in these sessions, she often spends half the time seeking advice to really improve herself, both hard skills and soft skills, so that she can lead by example and walk the talk. And almost always, the other 50% of her time is dedicated into tapping into the mentor's experience and expertise on how to lead her team better. How can she rally them well under a common goal? How to better resolve conflicts that arises between team members? How to empower the team in the 12-week journey in solving complex and ambiguous problems. Leadership, when done well, is often invisible and will only be felt in the absence of it, as opposed to when it is present. So in GOA, we take pride in recognizing great leadership and celebrate leaders like Sophie that had taken personal sacrifice to bring the team through difficult and challenging journey. Well done, Sophie, and congratulations. Now, I know Sophie is not great at public speaking, so Jeff had asked me to remind you that he prepared a meme video for you if you get speechless, so we can buy you some time.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, we might need to roll that again one more time. No. Thank you really so much for that. I think that I really want to thank our team just in general, because I think yeah, sure, you can say leadership is something or whatever. I don't know. I'm kind of flustered, but I'd really like to thank all the devs on our team: Peter, Jeffrey, Ciro, Oscar, Jason. Great. I don't know. I'm still kind of shocked right now, honestly, but I really want to thank our team's mentors and just the mentors in general for just sparing their time for me to be able to ask them questions, despite how trivial they may seem. And yeah. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Congratulations, Sophie. Well done.
Congratulations, Sophie, and thank you, Justin. Congratulations, everyone. It's been another tough yet exciting day, and I'm also eagerly awaiting to find out who the final winning team is. But before we do that, we have one more announcement, and that's the People's Choice Award. So let me take a look at the results here. All the votes are in and collected and tabulated, and I must say it was really close this year. When we started the live stream this morning, the top two teams were actually tied, exactly the same number of votes. And then some more votes were cast during the show. And so now we have all the votes in. So just to remind you that the votes will account for 10% of the team's total score. And also the team with the most votes will win the People's Choice Award. So before I announce the winner, because the winner just won by 4 votes, just 4 votes over the team with the second most votes. So I'll have to do an honorable mention to the person that just lost by 4 votes. And that team is Team Pneumo. So Team Pneumo, congratulations on all your efforts. You did really good job, but you just got beat by 4 votes. So no. The winner is NFTeam. NFTeam won with 108 votes. Team NFTeam won with 108 votes. So congratulations. Let's get you on screen, Team NFTeam. All right, Team NFTeam, congratulations. So you only won by 4 votes. It was really close. Tell us, what was your strategy in getting the votes out for you? Do you all need mics now, not just Aki? Oh, they all want mics. Oh, okay, we can't see what you're writing, Aki. You have to pull it back a little bit. It's too close. We missed it.
I just asked everyone I knew, and I think that was the secret. Just, it's about promoting. I think it's a numbers game.
Okay, awesome.
Aki just said her mom got a bunch of her friends.
Okay, that's awesome. Okay, well, congratulations, team. Really good job. So thank you, congratulations. We're gonna each one of you will receive a mini trophy for winning the People's Choice Award. All right, so congratulations. Okay, so now we've come to the part of the show we've all been waiting for. So earlier, I mentioned that when I graduated from UBC, I was so excited because I knew that I was at the beginning of a technology revolution. And a revolution it was. We went from no internet to where we now all can't live and do our daily activities without it. But standing here 30 years later, I still feel the same excitement as I felt back then. We are just at the beginning of so many more technology revolutions, whether it's AI, data mining, virtual augmented reality, or the future of social media, some of the things that you guys presented today, some of those ideas, you name it. The world 10, 20, or 30 years from now will be completely different from what it is today. And all of you, if you decide to go into the tech industry, are going to ride this wave. It's going to be exciting. But as we discussed when we talked about ethics a couple months ago, be true to yourselves and always be kind and generous to those around us, especially those who are disadvantaged in some way. There's going to be many winners, but also some losers. Not everyone will have the ability to ride this technology revolution wave. not everyone will be as fortunate as you. But whatever products or services you will build, or whatever you might dream up of, remember to always ask the question, how will this benefit society? Are we leaving anyone behind? This season, the theme of inequity was tough. Even for adults, it's a tough problem to tackle. But I am very proud of all of you for tackling this head on, and let this not be a one-time thing. May you continue to identify and address sources of inequity however and whenever you can. So today's winning team will be this season's provincial champion, and they will win the Glenn Bussey Trophy. Here's the trophy. This is named after my grade 7 teacher who taught and inspired me to write my very first computer program. Mr. Bussey is retired now, but he's here with a greeting for all of you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Glenn Bussey, and thanks for inviting me to speak to you today. I want to begin by saying congratulations to all 120 participants and mentors involved in Season 5 of Game of Apps. You, the participants, have been guided by professional developers and designers using technology in thoughtful and creative ways to solve problems through app development. The skills will give you much valued insight into how the tech industry works and how you can be a part of a future workforce. In addition to coding, the idea of using design and empathy and problem-solving techniques in a teamwork environment will foster an attitude of continuous learning in you, the participants. The end result has been another year of great success for everyone. I know from personal experience that when you create solutions that make someone else's life easier, it is very rewarding, and it only motivates you to do more. By working virtually again this year, the Game of Apps has opened up more opportunities by having more schools participate, and there's even a new middle years program for grades 6 to 8. 33 schools and over 460 students have participated in the Game of Apps to date, and it's just amazing to see how the Game of Apps has grown. A big thank you must be given to the 57 industry mentors who have generously given their time by volunteering to teach and mentor you. Finally, I would like to congratulate in advance this year's winners, but in reality, you are all winners just by being part of this incredible program. Through the years, the Game of Apps continues to be a rewarding experience for all involved. Again, well done to all of you, and I'd like to personally wish you the very best in your future endeavors. Good luck.
Thank you so much, Glenn. Yeah, the video was stuttering a little bit, but if you want to watch that video again, it's posted up on our YouTube channel. So anyway, finally, we will now announce the Season 5 Game of Apps Championships winner. After I announce the winning team, would the students in that team please turn on your cameras so the audience can see you and we can acknowledge you. So I've just been handed the envelope. See winner. And let's see, the winner is Team CompSci Rejects. Team CompSci Rejects. Congratulations. Please turn on your camera so we could acknowledge you. We're waiting. CompSci Rejects. All right, here we go. All right. Are you still in shock? Is that why it took you so long to turn on your videos?
Yeah, sorry. We were just we were like, oh my, really? And then on our call, and then I was like, we have to switch on to this one. As you can see, we're all getting ready a little bit. This
trophy will be going to you. So hang on. We're gonna have your full reaction.
Jeffrey's not here.
Later on at the end of the show. But we'll have your team name inscribed onto this trophy, and you will also all receive a small personal trophy that you can keep. Okay, so you get to keep this for 1 year. Then we got to take it back because it's going to next year's winner. But these little ones you get to keep. All right. So yeah, don't leave yet. Janice and Leah will be interviewing you shortly. So let me pass the time over to Janice now.
Well, thank you. Congratulations to Team CompSci Rejects. Well, hopefully any of the CompSci program that you'll be applying to won't reject you after showing them this huge trophy that you guys got. But yeah, and also want to say congratulations to all the students who participated in the Game of Apps program and actually completing it. And now maybe just feels like the weight on the shoulder is gone now. So you have gone through a lot during these challenging times and managed to end with grace. So we hope that you all had a lot of fun and learned a lot. And to the students who will be going on to post-secondary, we wish you the best of luck and maybe see some of you in the tech industry in the future. So, and to those who are still in high school, we hope to see you back again next year for season 6.
Yay! Wow, that was so exciting. Congratulations to all of our winners and all of the students. Stick around as we'll be interviewing the winners, the CompSci Rejects, in our post-show segment. But before we sign off, we do have some housekeeping items and a few announcements from Janice.
Yes. So if you or someone you know is currently in high school or around the high school age and above and would like to learn the fundamentals of design and development, sign up for the Level 0 program on the Game of Apps website. And this one is more self-paced and is 100% online, and you get credits towards the senior program. All right, next slide, please. And the Level 0 program bridges onto our seasonal senior program. And I know we just finished the Season 5 championship, but Season 6 is just right around the corner. So, and early bird registrations is open now at the Game of Apps website. And returning students actually get a discount, and the early bird registration gives an additional discount. And I'll now hand it to Leah for some other programs that we have to offer.
Thanks. Yeah, so if you think Game of Apps is awesome, it's also open for students grades 6 to 9. Our middle years program introduces you to coding using Swift playgrounds in a fun and friendly environment. And access to a Mac or an iPad is required for this program. We also, as mentioned earlier, we'd like to keep in touch with our past students. So to do that, we have a Game of Apps Discord channel for alumni students. Keep an eye out in Slack, where we'll be posting an invite to that link very shortly. Janice has the last announcement.
Yes. So we'll also like to hear from all of you and get your feedback on the Game of Apps program. So we will also be sending a survey link that would be posted on Slack. So don't delete your app right away. There's still a few things coming your way. So please do take a few minutes to let us know your thoughts so we can make the program even better. And I think that concludes the entire segment of our competition. And I think it's time to interview our winners. Hello, hello. Woohoo! I'm gonna go like this.
Hello.
Hello.
Congrats, Team CompSci Reject. So I know some of you are returning students and you guys are veterans, but how about let's start with some of the newer members. Like, how are you feeling right now?
I'm speechless. Yes. Good. I am speechless. And that's all. Like, very surprised. Yeah.
Good. I feel good, I guess.
I think in the
I didn't think we
showcase
were
we
gonna
did
win.
talk about how
Yeah, we
Game
did
of
that.
Apps can be very speechless, so I guess it's true. What about from the newer members? Are you still speechless?
Senior members?
I see all your plays are just like.
I mean, like, yeah, it's definitely, we were actually debating. I should bet, dang it. Although I think I don't know. But yeah, I'm just kind of in shock a little bit. I think that's the feeling from a lot of our team. But, you know, the devs, there was definitely some rough patches in the project, but I think those rough patches were what allowed us to really like push our limits, challenge ourselves, and prepare ourselves to sort of take on similar challenges in the future. At least that's from my personal experience. But yeah, they're all great. They're all great, amazing developers. Jeffrey, come back. And I'm just like, I don't know. I just can't speak. I don't know. Jason, Oscar?
Else to add?
I can add something. I felt like this year was a lot harder because of grade 12, obviously. Because last year, me, Oscar, and Sophie were all on the same team with a bunch of other kids from our school. And that was a lot easier because grade 11 was less of a stressful year because of COVID. Everything was online. So we had a lot more time on our hands to deal with Game of Apps and put time into our app. But since it's our final year, we really had to like find time out of just anywhere in order to finish our app.
Yeah, I really want to recommend, like, just congratulate you guys on that, because I know like these guys are super smart. They take like a lot of AP courses and pass them very good. So I know their workload was like crazy, and the fact that they were able to like go with my crazy requests of being like, can you do this because it would be very cool. I really want to thank them for that. Just hanging in there tight. And look we're here. Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God, indeed. Does anyone else have anything else they would like to say?
Not really.
Awkward smile.
Not really.
Also, our
How about we'll end off with, how do you want to celebrate now?
Oh, we should do something.
We should play a game. I don't know.
Like you were
That's what we
already
usually
doing
do
that.
anyways. Obviously not.
I think we should all go outside, since we spent the last like 12 weeks inside, not being outside with one with nature. I don't think anybody here likes that idea, but I think it's a great one.
CompSci reject students do not go outside. That is an unwritten rule.
Unwritten rule. Oh my gosh. Well, we're still debating it. Let's say at least we'll figure out something between those two ideas.
Well, it is a beautiful day out today, and you do still have a bit more time, or maybe you can do something that's like outside, but you're like on the computer. I don't know. Trying to merge the two together.
Nah. Maybe.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you all to the audience for viewing. And again, congratulations to Team CompSci for winning this year's championship. So let's see. Do I have any other more housekeeping items? And I think we're good. And we'll see you all next year. Bye for now.
Bye.